Greetings, and welcome to Real Talk with Simply Deez, Tuesday, the 6th of May, 2025. Why am I emphasizing? Because the very first Real Talk with Simply Deez was the 1st of May, 2018. You got it, 2018. So according to my maths, that's 7 years. Ain't nobody thinking this was going to last 7 years now. Come on, admit it. You didn't think we were going to last 7 years, but we have. We have. I'd love to chat, but we've got a show, and I need to keep it tight because we've got quite a few guests, and the producer Shelley, who will be popping in and out throughout the evening, as you know, will be kicking me. Not literally, but kicking me, saying we've got a guest. So give it up for Olive Higmot, who I have not spoken to in a little while, and we're going to find out what this young lady is up to. Olive! Oh my gosh!
Hello. I think I last spoke to you during COVID.
No. Are you serious?
It's a long time. I think
no way. Shelley, I hope you're taking note of this. Do you know what? I knew it was a while, but I didn't realise it was that long. Oh,
never mind.
It's 5 years. Oh my gosh. When I said caught up, there's me thinking a few years. I've not spoken to her. Let's see what she's up to. 5 years is a very long time.
It might have been the end of COVID, I don't know, but it was somewhere during, I remember being on here during COVID.
In Zooms and stuff like that. Welcome, and thank you for coming on, darling. Thank you for coming on. So, you know, we're being into the masses out there, because obviously once we're live on Facebook. We're also live on YouTube also as well.
Right, well
so
done.
This is, it's spreading far and wide. When we get people from, which we have done, from Malawi, sort of saying, oh, I'm watching, and you're like, really?
How are you managing to do that?
Well, we're part of, do you remember when we used to, I used to go into the studio, and that was Pamtengo Studio, and used to go in there, and they were kind of, in terms of, it was like an African-based radio station. And so we had followers from there. So yes, that's how. So it's global. I have my cousin messaging me from America, and all over. So you don't know who you're reaching, Olive, is what I'm trying to say. So, young lady, oh my gosh, the masses out there don't even know who you, some of them know, that's that lady, but there's quite a few people that don't know who you are, lovely. I don't know why. I don't know why, but they don't know who you are. So if you don't mind, just give us a little introduction as into who you are and what you do.
Right, okay. Well, I'm Olive Higmot, and I run an organisation called Empowering Learning, which is, and we started off, I mean, this is going to sound really old. 25 years ago, I started off this, and I started it off with a tool that I discovered about how people learn to read and learn to spell. And so we started it off with that. And gradually over the years, people have got trained. So there's people all around the world who have got trained in this. There is lots and lots of people that we've worked with really successfully. But we haven't really done as much as I wanted to in schools, because the school system promotes learning phonically, and we talk about learning visually. And I'll give the audience a couple of questions to think about. Mm-hmm. Is, if you know somebody who is a fluent reader, how on earth are they doing that? Are they having to decode words all the time, or are they just recognizing words? We teach people to recognize words. The same thing can be true for spelling. If you know people who are really great at spelling, by the way, I should say in the English language, because the English language is more difficult. How are they doing that? Are they having to break the whole thing down phonetically, which doesn't work terribly well for spelling? Or do they just know what the word looks like and they write it down? And so those are the two questions that you should ask yourself is, how do we know? We know what great readers are doing. They're just recognizing words. And so why aren't we just teaching kids to recognize words before they learn phonics? I'm not anti-phonics. I just want them to learn how to get fast, improve their speed of reading and enjoyment of reading. If we get them breaking down too many words too young, they really get a bit turned off by the system. And there was another thing I found out that was quite extraordinary. When I first started this work 25 years ago, the kids I met, I asked them what they were good at, not literacy or numeracy. And I asked them what they were good at. And they all came up with things like, well, I'm creative. I like drawing. And all of them were saying that, in my terminology, they were visual thinkers. So they thought in pictures. So my next question to them was, well, why don't we just get you thinking in seeing words as pictures? Because you're already good at thinking in pictures. So we'll get you seeing words as pictures. And that was how we started 25 years ago. And since then, we've gone on and taught thousands of kids, thousands of parents. There's resistance from school because it's not the way they're being told to teach. So I'm not blaming schools at all. That's the way it is in the UK and in America. And in particular, it affects people in the English-speaking countries, because English is not a perfectly phonetic language. If you were born Italian and your first language was Italian, it's a perfectly phonetic language. You would have no problem using phonics all the time on it. But it doesn't work like that in English. And so I've studied so many things along the way. I've got really good at helping people with ADHD as well, and with autism. And interestingly, I always keep coming back to literacy, because another good question is that if you think you're ADHD or you've got a diagnosis, what's your literacy like? We know there's a huge correlation between children who are diagnosed with ADHD and also have poor literacy. And the reason for that is they are so stressed out with literacy that they start looking as if they've got ADHD. A simplistic way of looking at it.
It's just every time you come on and you probably say I'm saying the same thing, but it just blows my mind.
Well, we have moved on in 25 years. Another thing we know is that, just another good question for everybody is, when your child was 4 years old, then what were they like? There's been a wonderful piece of research done by a couple of Americans, and I won't go into the details of it, but basically they said 4-year-olds are creative geniuses. 98% of 4-year-olds are creative geniuses. And if you've ever had a 4-year-old, you'll probably agree with that. But as they go through school, because creativity isn't high on the list in school, I'm not blaming schools, that's the national curriculum. By the time they come out the other end, only 2% of the adult population are creative geniuses.
Wow.
And I'll really blow your mind that we need in the world all the creative geniuses we can get our hands on, because we've got enough difficult problems to solve.
Olive, I didn't know where to start.
Oh, and the other thing I should say, while you're not knowing where to start, It's really easy to teach people. We are on the receiving end of some really strange diagnoses at the moment. And I will quote this one because I've had children who come to me who can read perfectly well and can't spell. And then they go for a dyslexia diagnosis and they come out as positive for dyslexia. That is not dyslexia. Dyslexia is bright kids, on the proper definition or the original definition, is bright kids who struggle to spell and read. The ones who can read and can't spell have just not worked out how to use their, what I'm now calling is their superpowers. These kids have got superpowers of being highly visual thinkers. They've got wonderful pictures in their heads, but they're not using them for words. And that's what we teach them to do.
Well, I'm going to bring said producer on because I know she's all in this. She's all over this on so many levels. I've got a question for you. There's producer Shell. Olive, so if sort of like, you know, they've gone through school and possibly maybe college or uni and it's not been diagnosed.
Yeah.
I'm sure I recall you saying there's a very high percentage of those that were in the criminal justice system that had, was it ADHD?
ADHD and dyslexia, very, very high numbers in prison. I did some work in prisons once. A friend of mine got me into prison, which always raises a laugh.
You sure you didn't get into there yourself?
No, and I went along and taught a few inmates how to visualize words. And of course, what happens is people can instantly do it if they've got good visual skills, but then they've got to go away and practice. So the crunch always is, how much are you prepared to practice in order to improve this for yourself? And the worrying thing about it is that struggling with literacy causes huge amounts of stress. And it doesn't matter if you have somebody who will read stuff for you, you're still generating the stress. It doesn't matter whether you've got an IT system that will read things for you, you're still being affected by the stress of it. And that's really bad for your mental health long term. Does that answer your question, Dee?
Yeah, it does. I'm going to hold what I want to say now because otherwise I'll hold the line. Shell, doesn't Olive kind of blow your mind each time she comes on? But I mean, I know, and obviously I don't know whether you're going to share anything, but yeah, what do you want to?
No, I've always known that I was different, right from when I was a kid, and it didn't really kind of like bother me at all. Since hearing Olive's story, being around enough children with autism, ADHD, I knew I could pinpoint certain things that were, oh yes, me too. I haven't gone down a formal diagnosis, but I took the pre-test thing for ADHD. So me at over 50, it then came up as a yes, we would take you further down and have a proper assessment if you wanted to. And I said, well, I know what I am. Yes, it's made a huge difference to then someone else to then say, yeah, very much so. But it hasn't, it wouldn't make any difference to me that I don't need medication. I'm not that kind of needing any of that kind of stuff, but it all made sense. It all made sense. And that's been right from just having other people then like yourself explaining that how I learn and how I actually look at things now and how I not only just take in the information, but how I learn and I process information.
So how do Can I ask you, Shelley, how you think you learn?
With me, very much, it's like show that I have to actually see it happening. So it's like,
Right.
show me. If it's a computer program, or you're working at a call center and stuff, if I'm sat next to you, I will learn 10 times faster if you just show me where the different bits and pieces are that's going on the computer, rather than telling me what to do. So if you used to give me a manual, I would kind of get it, but I would need to play around with it before. And how I was teaching people in the call center, because I did that at one point, I was very much that I was showing them stuff of how to do it and being hands, rather than this is the manual and this is how you learn.
And we can all know that Shelley is a visual thinker. How do we know that?
I do that with my hands a lot.
No, she's looking up when she's speaking.
Oh.
She's thinking of what she's going to say in some sort of pictorial form, and your visual field is up here. When your eyes go sideways, you're in auditory. And when your eyes go down, you're in what? Does anybody know? You're in your emotions. What are we doing with our children in school? We're getting to learn flat on the table, straight back into their emotions. If you get a child to, if they're trying to read and they're struggling, if you get them to hold the book up, they will improve instantly.
Wow.
If you want them to write something, we had this happen with a little boy in primary school once, when I told his learning assistant this technique, and this lad he had a learning assistant who read everything for him and wrote everything for him, a scribe. And she said, would you like to go and write that on the flip chart at the front of the class? Now, she thought he'd have a complete freak out. He marched up to the front of the class, got the pen out and wrote it all on the flip chart. He hadn't written any words in class up until then.
Wow.
But he was looking up rather than looking down at the table. That one simple trick will revolutionize some kids' experience.
Now, for you to just say that, I did, when I first left high school, I was going to become a nursery nurse. And to see a child difference between a nursery setting and their first schooling, when there was a child that was very, very, very into, I remember the discussion, there was a child that was very, very into stories when he was in the nursery, but he stopped reading when he went into the infants.
Yeah.
Because in nursery, we would be with the book, and it's all visual, and they're down on the floor and they're looking at you because you're doing story time. Well, when you've gone into a school situation, you're learning to read by yourself, and you're most of the time looking down because you're
on the table.
Wow.
Oh.
Absolutely.
See, I said at the beginning, nuggets.
And what's more, you've got, I mean, one of the things I love doing with reception class is when they're all sitting there listening to a story, please don't show them the pictures. Just read the story to them and ask them to make up pictures in their heads of what the story's about, and then get them to discuss what the pictures are in their heads. And there is no right answer, because this is their imagination. You know, if one child thinks the elephant was wearing a blue coat and another child thinks he was wearing a red one, that's fine. That's called your imagination. There is no wrong answers. And that, I think, would if any reception teachers are listening, that would dramatically improve the children's ability to remember a story instantly. Just put one sentence at the beginning before you read the story and say, can you make up pictures in your head of this story whilst I'm reading it? And I remember another little boy in a Harpenden school who was one of those kids in reception year who really looked as if he didn't want to be there. And he never answered any questions. And he was sitting right up next to the teacher and he was looking terrified. And I did this with exactly this with the whole class. And you know, his hand was the first one to go up to answer the questions.
Wow.
Because he knew what the question, because I was tapping into his visual field, he knew what the answers are going to be.
So I've noticed, I've been helping my nephew with his own scouts. He's now a leader and he's got scouts, and we were getting them to decorate cakes. And I said afterwards, some of these children, I mean, bearing in mind they're 6, 7, 8-year-olds, they've lost their imagination of how they wanted, because they got told to decorate this cake on something that they've learned to do with their badges. Now, there could be anything, and I knew what they'd been doing over the past few weeks. They'd gone for a walk, they've done a camp, a campsite fire and all that kind of stuff. They could have done anything on it, but they couldn't work out what they wanted to do. And I was just automatically assumed sort of, well, you've got too much information now. If you've got a laptop or a tablet or whatever, you've got too much information given to you. And for what you're saying, that if you're not thinking about what something looks like, of a story, for instance, then if that information's already given to you, then you don't have to think about what it could look like.
I'll tell you a great story to go with your cooking and cake making. I met Jamie Oliver once, and now he would say he's dyslexic, but I said to him, well, when you're cooking something, do you know what it's going to look like when you've finished it? And he looked at me and went, do you think I don't? So he visualizes all the time, but he's never learned to visualize words. That's the whole problem. And I'm sorry to say, this is a teaching problem. This is not the child's problem. And it's not the teacher's problem. It's the national curriculum's problem. We have nothing in the early years curriculum, which goes from 0 to the end of reception class, I think. We have nothing at all. The word visual isn't in there.
Wow.
I've written amendments to the national curriculum, the national curriculum, no, the early years one, and said, please put this in here and this in here. Some of the things I was just saying to Shelley, like get them all visualizing what the story is about, for example, which you can easily do in early years. And when we get up to the proper national curriculum after early years, there is still nothing in there about visual. We continuously tell everybody to do everything auditory. And I'd like to back up a minute, because when I first started this work, I joined the gang, if you like, who were calling these challenges and strengths neurodivergent. I've since done an enormous amount of work on neurodivergent strengths. And where did I find these strengths out from? I kept asking the pupils that I met, what were you good at? And one after another came up with things like sport, creativity, imagination, curiosity, etc., etc. And I would now run classes to teach people what all these strengths are. But then I discovered that actually a lot of the people who weren't neurodivergent have got these strengths as well. So I've rebranded them and said, these are neurodiverse strengths. They belong to everybody when they're born. And it's just a question of how much they develop them as they go through life or neglect them. And so I now have a list of 40 of these strengths.
Wow.
And it's extraordinary how clever these people are. And we are saying there's something wrong with them. Well, sorry, not me, but the system is saying there's something wrong with these people. And there is nothing wrong with them. It's the people around the students that need to get a grip on what is going on here.
And the thing is, as soon as you put a label on someone or what have you. So that's even as in the parents, oh my, you know, my child is, you know, has got ADHD. Oh my gosh, they're not going to do well in the world, or they're not going to, and you've fed that to your child and it's fed in. And
well, I spent a lot of time trying to get people to realize their strengths. And then if they realize them, they can tell other people their strengths. And you got me teaching at the Recovery College in Luton,
right.
didn't you? And how many years ago was that, Dee?
That probably was about 5. Yeah, it was COVID times. Yeah.
I've been teaching at the Recovery College every week since then. And I do various classes. I do ADHD, I do dyslexia, I do neurodivergent strengths, I do sleep, and there's another couple I do every Monday. I'll do the advert every Monday at 9:30. No, sorry, 12:30 at the Luton Bedfordshire Recovery College. I'm teaching some aspect of this, and it's all for free. The recovery colleges are, all you want to put in is Luton Recovery College or Luton and Bedfordshire Recovery College into Google.
Yes, yeah, it's something that comes up on links anyway, yeah.
And please sign up for any of their free courses, because I do them for free, and I've been doing it for free for years. And why I like doing the strengths one is, I'll tell you the secret of the strengths one, is that I ask people how many strengths they think they've got at the beginning. And they normally have 2 or 3 on a good day. And I go through this whole list of strengths, of neurodiverse strengths. And they go, well, I think I could be about 25 now or 30. And they're so pleased with themselves.
Yeah.
And if they don't appreciate themselves, nobody else is going to appreciate them.
So that
it's something that's, as soon as you say about having a tag, it's I've heard so many parents recently that in school, because it's shown up that they have autistic traits, they believe their child's autistic, but no, it's just, you might have a few things that have come up that they might need to look at further. But then even in a school situation, and this was like just before COVID, my nephew Aaron is classed as non-verbal, even though he does make sounds and you can make out what he's saying if you round him long enough. But because he was classed as non-verbal in his school through lockdown, his homework was help mum make the beds, make your breakfast, do this, do that. And he wrote to the school to then say, I can do more than this. He is so bright. He was doing like university level computer programming. He was doing going towards his maths and his English GCSEs when he got told that he couldn't actually do that. And he only actually got marked down in maths because he didn't show anyone his workings, because he knew how to out, you know.
That is a nightmare.
Yeah. But he was classed as the lowest of the low because he's supposedly non-verbal. And we get that with our own Tishi, that everyone just assumes that it's not a valid person that's there that can hear everything and can do everything. It's just as classed as there is a different ability to the body or the brain to what is classed as the norm. And it just, drives me around.
And what is the norm?
I'd just like to say something about that. When I started this work, we were talking about spiky profiles. And actually, I like spiky profiles because you can categorize all the things that people need to be able to do, which incorporates my list of 40. But you can then go, right, some people are sort of even all the way through. Well, that's okay. They're sort of even. They're probably not going to change the world, but they're going to be even through generalists, if you like. Then spiky profiles come along. You've got some people who go right up, and then some things go right down. And so their profiles look a bit like this. And so there's some things they're really good at, and all the skills I've been talking about is what they're typically really good at, a lot of those. And some things they're really not great at. So that's a spiky profile. Now, firstly, which would you rather be? Would you rather be a generalist, or would you rather be somebody who's going to be exceptional at some things and not great at others? And then we have some people that are right off the scale. And finally, you should mention, I've been doing some work recently with to understand more about non-verbal people and how, and they are right off the scale on some things and clearly not on others. And so it's really fascinating to look at somebody's spiky profile and go, let's really decide which ones you're good at and which ones you're exceptionally good at. And the exceptionally good at ones, for example, may have like telepathic skills, that they can actually communicate with people. They can communicate with animals, or they can communicate with other people non-verbally. Isn't that just amazing? And there's been some research done on all that. And it's a question of the rest of us have got to catch up with these exceptional skills that people have got. We don't expect them to be able to fly, but we do. But things like being unbelievably good at sport or unbelievably good at musician. I was watching somebody the other day on YouTube, I think it must be. There was two blokes playing violins somewhere or other, and it must have been in a public event, because this little lad who was about this big, he was probably about 8, walked up and he said, "Would you mind if I play with you?" And the bloke said, "Do you want to?" And he went, "Yeah, I think I'll be all right." And they're playing something like Vivaldi, and he jumps on the piano and joins in. It's absolutely stunning.
Oh my gosh.
This is an exceptional musician, clearly, at the age of 8 or whatever it was. So we've got to really look out for what people are good at.
Oh my God. Olive, I need you on for longer. I need you on for longer. I've got a guest waiting in the wings, and there's so much.
That's
Guys,
all right. You just have to invite me back, because I've got a webinar to run in 15 minutes time, so don't worry.
I will do. We'll be promoting, obviously, the courses that you're running at the Recovery College. All the information and how to get hold of Olive is going across the screen, guys. Empowering and learning. Olive has been doing this for 25 years. I think we first met International Women's Day. Do you know when that was? 2008.
Wow.
That was 2008. So that's how long I've known this young lady. So all of you out there, sometimes, and this is what we say when you're watching the show, there might be things that everything on this show is a nugget. Everything. Sometimes that nugget may not be for you, but that's why we say to share, because your friends, why didn't you share that? If I'd have known that, that would have helped my uncles or my brother's daughter or whatever the case might be. There is somebody out there that needs this information. Olive, we will catch up sooner than you think. Much sooner than you think. Thank you for taking the time out this evening, and I'll speak to you real soon, my love.
It's been a pleasure. I've just put in there, I've generated a learning platform where people can go along and find all sorts of interesting stuff. And it's at visualkids.co.uk. I just put it in your chat.
Oh, brilliant. I'll make sure, well, Shelley will pick that up and she'll be sharing that on our platforms.
Thank you for the invitation.
No problem, darling. All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Bye. Oh, my gosh. I told you. Oh, Dee, she says this, she says that. What does she know? I know people who know stuff. And nugget, mic drop moment. Another one's coming up right now. And as I say, mic drop. Ding! And I can't believe, by the magic of the producer's going to bring on Lady Loy. Oh my gosh. I'm surprised she's still talking to me, to be honest. We can't see you.
How do I turn this on?
Have you got something that says at the bottom cam? It normally says MIC for the mic,
it
and then
says
it
stop
says,
cam.
sorry?
It says stop cam, but it doesn't say.
If you click on it, that should take off. No, that's
let me have a look at the settings. Hold on. Should have done this
that's
before.
okay.
But
don't worry. It is important that the people out there, they see you. Oh,
okay, can you see me now?
Oh, I certainly can. Check you out.
I can close that now then. Okay.
Greetings, sister.
Hello there, Dee Bailey. How are you?
I'm buzzing. I'm proper buzzing. And then there's me buzzing because I forgot to when I was doing all my bits and pieces. This is actually an anniversary date for me.
How is it?
The 1st of May 2018. You're going to say, really? 2018 is the first time I did this show.
Oh wow.
I know. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to say that with Lady Lloyd on because I've never had you on the show. 7.
7 years. Wow. 7's
I
a good
know.
number.
The first 2 years, let me think, 28. The first 2 years we were actually in the studio. So my guests would come into the studio and we'd have a conversation like we're doing now. And then obviously COVID hit. And then obviously with COVID,
Right.
it's like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I'm like, you go online. What's wrong with you? You go online. And with this now, obviously, I can speak to people, which I have done in Barbados, in America.
Yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it?
As you know,
I think that was one of the
exactly.
advantages of COVID, wasn't it? Because you did find other ways to communicate with people. So it really, that was one of the benefits.
It certainly was. I don't even know where to start with you. Firstly, thank you on so many levels that you wouldn't even know. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on the show this evening. Oh, I really do appreciate you. And we met, I don't even know how many years ago. Oodles.
I know. I don't even know how we met. Do you remember how we met?
No.
No, I don't remember how we met.
That's how sad it is, guys. But I'm telling you, I've known this young lady. It's got to be over 15 years.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's got to be over 15 years.
Yeah.
And
because I moved to this side of the woods in 2000. So that's how long I've been here, 25 years.
You kidding?
No, I'm not kidding.
Okay.
Why do you sound surprised?
You mean from wherever you were to Luton, right? You don't mean house move? Because I was going like, is it 25 years since you've moved from that house to?
No, that's 10 years since I moved
right, because I was
from
going like, oh
Luton
my
to
gosh, it's 25.
Dunstable.
Oh, right, yeah.
No.
Oh, wow. So I know where to start. There's people out there that'll be like, oh, I know that lady. But there's many, because remember, we're online. It's Lloyd, and I know you do a whole heap of ting and ting. But my job is not to tell everybody what you do. That's what you're here to do. Really? That's what you're here to do. So, Lady Lloyd, and that writing's small. I can't even read it. Lady Lloyd. Does it say
says
AKA Myrna?
poet, author, presenter, and DJ. That's what it says underneath my name.
And that's just a few of the things, by the way, guys. That's just a few. So, author, I know you've done poetry books. And what else have you done?
I've done non-fiction. I've done 2 non-fiction books and I think about 4 poetry books. I think I'm more a poet than I am an author, but it all depends on what mood I'm in.
So, okay, so you've got that side under your belt. And how long have you been doing poetry? Is that sort of like let me stop 1
I was
second. Let me stop 1
15.
second. Because I've realised I don't know why I'm treating you different to my other guests. You're thinking like, why is she saying that? Because what I do, I peel back layers, a bit
Okay.
like an onion. Because I probably know this. I think I know more, but I probably only know that much about you, you know. So when I say peel back, we're going right back, as in
So the
like
facet of
where
a
you're born,
business.
a bit of yes, what you want to share naturally, only what you want to share. So I'm not talking about years and stuff like that, but just as in terms of sort of like, you know, like where you're born, siblings, upbringing. Did you enjoy school? Because I'm thinking like poetry, author. You know, did you, because you may not have had people that don't enjoy school, but they leave school and they thrive and do so well.
Okay. Well, I prefer to be guided. That's the first thing, because I find that when I'm interviewing, I tend to guide people so that they've got some kind of something to work with.
Hmm.
So rather than just leave it out in the open, if you let me know, um,
So,
I'll just ask you
so I'm
some
talking about,
questions. Yeah, go on.
where were you born?
I was born in the UK. I was born in South Kensington, London.
Okay, you were born in London. Okay, as in, and as schooling, how was school for you? Did you enjoy it?
Well, I was the first black girl in the school. I was born in 1952, so you can imagine I was one of the first in the Windrush.
Oh, wow.
So there wasn't any black people in my school. So, but having said that, I didn't experience racism. I didn't experience, I wasn't aware of my blackness. I was made
Okay.
aware of my blackness by black people because I used to hang around with white girls because it was a girls' school. So I used to
Okay.
hang around with white girls, and then when I reached about the fourth year, I'd been into school about 4 years.
Mhm.
Some black pupils started coming in, and then they started saying I was a traitor because I wasn't hanging around with black girls. But for me, I didn't see color or anything. And plus, there was only white people in the school. So it didn't really occur to me that I was ignoring black people, if you see what I mean. So
Yeah.
that's what drew attention to my color, as
Mhm.
opposed to you would have thought it would be white people drawing attention to my color, but it wasn't. It was actually black people. So my experience at school before I met those black people was really good. I excelled in class.
Mhm.
I was, top at English, top at all my subjects. But when the black girls came in and they started saying, look, and they started beating me up and saying, you need to come on our side kind of thing, there was a lot of bullying going on.
Oh, wow.
um, I started hanging around with them. That's when my grades dropped. And I ended up leaving school or being asked to leave school at the age of 15. So I left school early and I started work at 16.
Wow. Okay. So, I mean,
I
how, in
don't think that
terms
would
of, I mean,
happen these days.
isn't it? So, did you share that with your parents at the time? I mean, as in terms of the bullying, or
I find that parents, my era, um, they weren't really interested. You went to school to learn.
hmm
And whether or not you were bullied or whatever happened to you in school, it didn't really matter as long as you kept up your grades and as long as you did well in school and as long as you looked neat and tidy. I mean, those were the main criterias. But um, no, it's not
but I
something I
just
would have
meant,
gone back and said, Mum, this has happened. She wouldn't have known the reason why my grades dropped. She wouldn't have known the pressure I was under. She wouldn't have known why I got kicked out of school. She just probably thought I was a rebellious child. But I wasn't really rebellious to start off with. I became
okay.
rebellious afterwards.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, so when you left, sort of like when you left, I mean, in terms of, obviously, you sort of said, you started work at 16. What was that first job?
International life insurance in Wembley. I remember quite clearly.
Okay, okay.
I got £6.50 a week.
Oh, wow.
And my mother took me there and she handmade me an outfit, all prim and proper, all the way up here,
Yes.
with frills and,
Oh,
a
yes.
nice cream suit. And I remember her answering questions. They were asking me questions and she was answering, and I had to say, look, Mrs. Gale, do you mind leaving the room and allowing your daughter to answer? But that was my first job.
Oh, wow.
My mother always
Okay.
said to me, if you work as a secretary, you'll always
Hmm.
have a job. So she didn't have great aspirations for me. A secretary was enough because that would always give me a job. That was her belief.
That was, wasn't it, back then? It was secretarial
Mm,
or nursing, that kind of.
mm.
Okay. So did you enjoy
I can't remember. I just
it?
felt proud. I felt kind of proud that I was working. Felt proud
Hmm.
that I had a pay packet.
Yeah.
And I used to just go to the record shop and buy records with my money. And I'd go to a couple of shops and buy, little outfits. So yeah, I felt
Mhm.
quite independent.
Okay. So how many years did you do that for before you moved on and decided to go on a different path, or did you do another administrative job?
All my jobs have been more or less secretarial or administrative up until when I went to America. But up until that point, I ended up being a legal secretary. So I did legal secretarial work for about maybe 10, 12 years. So
Yeah.
that's what I ended up doing.
Hmm. And everything else that you're talking about, sort of like, um, as in, I'm sure we'll talk about in a moment, as in the, obviously the books, the DJing and whatever else, that is all your external sort of like interests, and you're quite happy doing the administrative side as in your main daytime.
Yeah, I think
Did you ever want to branch
um,
somewhere else?
I always wanted to be a dress designer. That was my childhood passion.
I can
But my
see
mother
you
used to say
fashion
it
and
wouldn't
all,
make
yeah.
any money. So yeah, so that's what I used to do. So I always
Mhm,
used to kind of do sketching. So I've always drawn, but I think with regard to working in administrative field, I've
mhm.
always looked for a job that doesn't take too much away from me so that I can actually focus on the creative side. So my
Gotcha.
work really just is there to pay the bills
That's
and
it.
it's stability.
Yes.
And yeah, I like the stability of having that. I'm not confident that I could branch off and make money off of my talent. And so that
Or
is what I
you could.
do. But I do kind of think that at some point, if it happens, it will
Hmm.
happen. But I don't feel pressure to make it happen because I need the money. You see what I mean?
Gotcha. Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, so that's why I do that.
All right. Okay. So how long have you been DJing? Because I know, say,
About 15 years now.
is that
Yes, about
all?
15 years.
It
Yeah,
probably just seems longer.
yeah, it's about
That's as
50.
long as I've known you, ish.
I tell you what, it is a bit longer because I was at Saywell when I started. So it's probably about 18 years. Yeah.
Okay.
But
So,
it's a new thing. Wasn't something I planned to do.
but you just love the music and then you just fell into it.
I've always loved music, and I think I came from a musical family, and I always used to buy records, like I said, as soon as I got my salary,
Money.
or not my salary, my wage. I'd be off at the record shop buying pre-releases. So I always had a taste for music.
Mhm.
But what I love is that I saw an advert actually in a paper to say that they would train you to become a DJ. So I actually trained to become a DJ and I got to learn all the equipment and I worked with what's his face now? I've forgotten his name now. Um,
Is he
Anyway,
local?
he's someone famous.
Okay.
No, he's from London, but you would know him if I said it. He's a comedian. He's quite big. I can't remember his name. His name is gone. But yeah, so I worked for Life FM and then Bang FM in London, but they trained me for that. And then I came to Luton and I worked for Jam Rock Radio with
Yes.
Milton and them lot.
Hmm.
And I did that until they had to find different premises.
Hmm.
And so I've been with Lovers Rock Radio for over 10 years.
Wow.
And I'm also on Gold Standard Radio on a Saturday now.
When I see you posting, I'm like, I know there's only 24 hours in a day. I know, I don't care what anybody says, there's 24 hours in a day. But somehow I'm going like, Myrna finding more than 24 hours. She must be. Somehow you're finding more than 24 hours in a day. How do you fit in all that you do?
I guess it's being organized. It's having, yeah, I'd say it's being organized first of all. And it's about prioritizing. When I'm at work. But then as soon as I come home,
Hmm.
I'm selecting music. I'm thinking about music for the Friday, and I'm thinking about music for the Saturday, and I'm thinking about what vibe I want to create. And then I might create a vibe, and then somebody sends me a tune, and that would change the whole dynamic of the show. Just one tune will change the whole dynamic. And then I'll start looking for tunes under that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And so when I come home, that's what I do. I'm on the police panel, so I'm on that as well. I volunteer on that. I think it's once every week. Sometimes it's twice a week. No, not twice a
Okay,
week.
so when you say
Twice a
police
month.
panel,
Yeah,
as
stop and
in,
search and use of
right.
force. So I'm on the police panel for that. So, but everything has its place, and I
Hmm.
think because everything has its place, that's why I get everything done. That's the only way I can look at it, because otherwise. And plus, I've got a supportive partner, so that helps.
Massively.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Um, I remember, and this is something because I've not spoken to you or seen you since. Do you remember when 5 years ago was COVID?
Mhm.
5 years ago was COVID, and in October 2020, Simply Deez, we opened up our in the market, the
Ah.
Luton indoor market, and that closed due to the rent being so
Ah.
high that we couldn't afford it, that we had to come
Yeah,
up. That was
exactly.
the only reason. Absolutely loved it. And people like looked forward to coming into the market. Just some people just
No.
to have a chat and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And that's when do you remember you came in, and if you don't mind just sharing with the audience what you set up and what you were doing.
Mm.
And I don't know, is that sort of like, is that by the wayside now, or is that something potentially that might be brought back to life?
Sometimes I think about bringing it back to life, but only
So
well,
bearing in
first
mind the
of all,
audience don't know what it.
I opened up the inspirational herbal tea kitchen in the market. And I used to create herbal teas. I would research illnesses and then I would create teas to combat that illness. But because of the way the government is and everything, you cannot say that a herbal tea can heal. So you're kind of, even though you test it and you kind of think, yeah, a lady came once with parasites, and I didn't know, I'd never done parasites before, but I did some research and I made a special tea for her. And then I thought to myself, well, um, after I gave her the tea, I was a bit nervous because I'm thinking, I'm not a pharmacist, but everything is natural. So I'm saying, I'm hoping it will be okay. And it actually got rid of the parasites. So I was so pleased that I was able to do that. But the thing is that it was made more difficult because then they started bringing in, you've got to do labeling and then you've got to put all the ingredients in it and it becomes complicated. So then I started thinking, should I just concentrate on sorrel, which is my specialty, and lemongrass tea, and there was a few other teas that I made. I even made a lutein tea, but it was just the fact that after a while, like you said, the rent and everything. But I enjoyed it. It really made me feel good. But I used to be worried about, does somebody have a would somebody be allergic to something?
Mm.
You see what I mean? It's a bit
Especially now.
risky.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
and I'm not a herbologist, so I was only doing making teas on research, and there wasn't. I didn't put anything crazy in them. It was just literally natural herbs.
Mm.
But yeah, so it was a herbal tea shop, and I used to make what else did I make? Irish moss. Ooh,
And you
yeah.
were
So
making, you were
it's
doing
quite
cakes
good.
as well, weren't you?
Oh yeah, I was doing cakes. I was doing a lot, and I was making soup.
Yeah, honestly, you were bringing trade into the market, were you not? Wow.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
remember,
it was
I mean,
lovely.
people used to be over where we were and used to go like, oh, over there's a tea shop. Myrna's over there doing teas, cakes,
Uh,
all sorts. Oh,
The
wow.
location wasn't very good for me either, to be honest. It
Mm,
was kind of around the back somewhere, but yeah,
yeah.
it was a lovely experience. I think about just doing things like sorrel now and
Hmm.
Irish moss, things that are not risky,
Yeah.
and you don't have to worry too much about them. But that's down the line. I'm not going to think about doing that now.
Okay. So currently, right now, I don't know, all of the platforms, you name them, you're on them. You're probably on stuff I haven't even heard of.
Not on that many platforms actually. I'm only on
Really?
TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. YouTube, I'm gonna come off of them because they give me a hard time. But yeah, I'm not on that many. Oh yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. Yeah, so maybe I'm on about five or six. Yeah, I am, and Twitter. I'm not
And
actively on them. Yeah, I'm not actively on them. Mostly it's just Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
TikTok. And I read a post that you posted, I'm sure it was last week, in terms of your followers on
Mm.
TikTok. And I was like, rah. How many did you say?
That's on YouTube. I had
Oh, was it
11,000.
YouTube? Was
Yeah,
it
because it
11,000?
was my Black Bright News. I used to talk about immigration,
Yes.
and people loved that, immigration and all kinds of political stuff. But it's just you have to just be too careful, and it takes the joy out of sharing information. I mean, I was always careful. I've never been somebody who's not diplomatic or somebody who rocks the boat. So
Hmm.
I would try to share information that was useful for people, but for some reason, no matter how I put it, because I think they probably look at me as some kind of smart ass,
Mm.
because I know what I'm saying and I
Yeah.
know how I'm saying it and I know how to say it without um without putting anybody in it. But I kind of let people know um what's going on anyway. But the thing is, I think they understand what I was doing. And even though I wasn't doing anything wrong, I wasn't talking about I wasn't talking about anything that should be hidden. But sometimes I think they believe that, they don't want people to know too much stuff and just leave things. They don't really want people to know about how many times they change legislation. They don't really want to know people to know the little small print in the passport. They don't want people to know all the things that people should know.
Should know.
And so I used to research that kind of stuff and I used to bring it to light. Things that might pass over somebody,
Hmm.
people might not even think about that. So that's what I used to get a kick out of. Just trying to find information that people might not know about.
No. So I think I read that you were taking it off of that platform and putting it onto another one. Is that right?
Yeah, what I'm doing at the moment, I've got over 2,000 videos. You
Jesus
can imagine
Christ.
how long it's taken
Shelley, is
me
that going
to
to take long?
download them. Yeah, it takes long. So I'm doing it slowly. I'm not pressurizing myself, but they said they're not going to pay me anymore. They hardly paid me anyway. So I want to take them all down, close the account, and then I'll go on Rumble or something.
Wow. There's so much to talk about. So much to talk about with you. Ah, what are you up to right now? Because you've only scratched the surface. You've done so many things also in Luton community over the years, and I know you've had you've received awards. I've been there on a few occasions where you received awards for the work that you've done in the community. Can I be, because this isn't scripted, you can vouch for that. Can I be, it's not really being cheeky, but can I ask you to drop a poem before you leave?
Poems are quite political. I'll tell you which one I'll do. But how many do I know off by heart? 1 sec. Okay, I'll just do one, a short one.
Mhm.
I work, going berserk, receiving no recognition because of my pigmentation. I am black, that's a fact. And the employers react in a way that is backed by the rest of the whites who love to unite in racism. Now, materialism. Now, that is the cause of so many wars that cause us to strive in order to live. But we get no satisfaction because of our pigmentation. And so we work, going berserk, going berserk, going berserk. So, yeah.
Wow. Considering, and I say to people, this isn't, if I don't, this show is never, I never wanted the show to be a polished show that I've given you questions, you know what I'm going to ask you, I know what you're going to respond back, and it's all kind of, it just goes where it goes, and all the rest that goes with that. You didn't know I was going to ask you for that, and
I know.
I do love that.
My
I
my
do love
poetry
that.
is a bit heavy. It's really top heavy. So, yeah. But yeah, I do. I'm not. I'm planning to write my biography over in the next year or so. But yeah, the other side of tourism. All my books you can get them on Amazon. The other
Hmm.
side of tourism. Poetry's teacher meets poetry's promise. My granddaughter committed suicide, so I have a book dedicated to her. And that's called
So sorry
Poetry's
about that.
Teacher is I can't even remember it now. But anyway, if you put in Mona Loy on Amazon, I've written quite a few books.
And we've got
So
your
yeah,
information going across the screen there also as well. If anybody wants to get in
okay.
touch, if anybody's missed anything and they want to get in touch with Myrna, just message us and we will make sure that that gets passed on. So please continue the works. You stretch further than you will ever know. And that's just it. When we're doing things, you don't know. Just because somebody has a message, it doesn't mean to say they haven't listened and they're not watching.
Mm.
So I'm following you, young
Yeah, well,
lady.
thank you
So
for inviting me on, Dee.
that's no problem. And we will physically catch up soon.
Okay then. You
All
take care
right.
now.
I will
All
do,
right
darling.
then.
Thank you.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye. Bye bye. Oh, wow. Um, ah! This is such a roller coaster, and the producer forgot to remind me to remind you all that you need to put on your seatbelts because this is what this show is about. It is a roller coaster of a journey, of a ride with various guests talking about various things. Get involved. Get involved. I have guests coming up now. Two. We have Wayne and Denise, and I don't think either have actually been on the show before. And trust me, I ain't getting them back on again. But don't worry, they're not listening. Oh, shit.
Was listening.
You know I know, say you're listening.
Yeah, we're listening.
Look, what? Woo! We got Wayne and Denise in the house. Oh my gosh. Thank you, guys.
People.
Honestly.
Hi, Dee. Hi, everyone.
Wayne, I'm good. I'm really good, thank you. And so glad that you both could come on tonight. Now, I don't know whether I've spoken to you, Denise. I may have done. But I currently now, my job, my role, my daytime job, I am a postwoman.
You have spoken to me. I've seen you. I knew that.
I am still a postwoman. And I started at just after 7 this morning and I finished just after 5. So it was a long day today.
Long day.
Just a few. Just a few. So the time I got home and I rushed and I was like going like, right, I got Denise, I got Wayne, and I'm like, woo. Now, what I want to do, Stephen, you sit tight, love. Don't you go anywhere. You're going to have your time. But these two, it was important for me that I get you guys on the show. So before we get into anything, people are going like, Denise,
what are they for?
Wayne,
Oh, no.
who are they?
So
what I'd like to do, first of all, is like, we're just laying a little bit of a foundation, first of all, so that rather than get into what we're going to get into. So Denise, if you'd go first, and then that will give Wayne a little idea of sort of like a steer of where to go. So just a little bit about yourself, my love, and what you're currently doing, and then we'll, after Wayne's spoken, we'll get into
okay.
today's.
So I'm Denise. I live Marsh Farm. I work for the council, do lots of community work. For those that know me will know that that's probably been my whole career that they've ever known, to do community work. But I'm here not in my work capacity. I'm here as a local resident in what we're going to discuss, the mother of a basketball player, and keen to engage the community, tell them about what's going on, and I'm just your average Luton resident, live on Marsh Farm, want to do my bit, want to have my say. That's me.
Brilliant. And that's what is so important. There's so many times that people don't get the platforms to share, sharing amongst your friends and your family and that, but you want the message to go wider, for people to be sharing, for people, rather than just be sitting and moaning about things, is to get involved, because there's so many things that you may think do not impact you, but they certainly do. So Wayne, if you just don't mind doing a brief...
Wayne,
sorry.
Wayne, can I just ask you to move over about 3 or 4 inches, because the thing that's behind you makes it look like you've got dreadlocks sticking up out your head.
Well, do you know what? I wondered. I thought it looked like a crown, and I thought, oh, check him out. Where's Gail? Gail hasn't had a look at that, has she? Eh?
No.
I'm going to sack her.
Officially, I'm away on business. I'm in a hotel. I'm in a conference room at the moment.
Okay.
And obviously making valuable time. That's not going to help, is it?
At least we can now see it's not attached to your head.
It's not. Looks quite fitting, actually. A crown.
Yeah, it does actually.
That's what I thought. And I thought, oh, check him out.
King Wayne.
I'm in a medieval hotel. So on that note, thank you very much, Denise. Thanks for having me, Dee. I'm Wayne McGann, local resident as well, born and bred in Luton. I've been around basketball all my life, and right now I'm at a stage where I just want to help to give something back to my local community, knowledge, experience in terms of basketball. I'm currently the general manager at Luton Basketball Club, where we support all engagement of basketball for all levels, all ages, all sexes. So that's what we're about. We want to give something back to the community. And yeah, I guess that's me.
That's no problem, no problem. So how long have you been doing that, Wayne? As in managing?
Fairly new to me, actually. Just over a year. So I've
Okay.
been in various roles within the club itself. But over this last year, I've taken an active involvement as general manager. So with kids, there's a slight different aspect in terms of, especially from a safeguarding point of view. We take it very, very seriously. I have some fantastic volunteers around me as well to help support those initiatives, and also coaching and mentoring, a fantastic bunch of kids that turn up every single week that just want to play basketball.
Okay, and this happens at Lee Manor, am I right?
Luton Basketball Club they've kind of got their fingers in many pies.
Okay.
Lots of different venues, but
Okay.
we'd like to have a singular home, but we just don't have that luxury, sadly. So we have to train and play out of multiple venues throughout the week.
Okay,
But Lee Manor
so
is one, yes.
So do you want me to give you a bit of potted history on the whole Lee Manor saga and where we
set the foundation? Yes,
Yeah.
please.
So I will give a little bit background. My son, he's now 17, he tried football, trampolining, mastered the art of PlayStation, and I thought, oh no, I don't want a PlayStation kid. I want somebody who wants to do something. And the age of 14, went over to Lee Manor Basketball Court. They were doing, Luton Basketball Club were doing like a fun day, testing out and it's kind of stuff like that. He absolutely, from that day, fell in love with basketball, and I never got him off the court. And 3 years on, he's in someone's court somewhere. But for those that know Marsh Farm, know that there's a basketball court, an outdoor court, on just outside the recreation centre next to the school. It's always used. It's, it's well attended, well used. It's free access, but it's tired. The court ground is tired. The baskets are tired. They're a bit bent up, and there's little or no maintenance. So my son and I, just probably about a year and a half ago, I said, come on, son, let's do something about this. Because, I'm involved in community work. I thought, oh, yeah, let's see if we can apply for some funding. So we first approached Active Luton, who kind of slightly manage the site, even though it's on Luton Council ground. They were really keen to work with us. But obviously funding for stuff like that is a lot. Then my son left school, went off to a basketball academy, so didn't have the time to kind of fully engage. Anyway, they reapproached us and said, look, we found some funding from the Football Association. Let's go and have a chat. So with myself and my son went and met Be Active, who've kind of really taken this piece of work on. We walked over the site. They've done loads of work in trying to engage with the community about this funding and what it would mean. So they've held lots of events, haven't they, Wayne? We've been over to a couple of evening events. We've met with them. Anyway, months and months on, we are at the stage now of we have to make a decision about the court. Sorry, and just butt in when you're ready, Wayne, because I could talk all evening. So just tell me to shh.
You're doing fine.
Doing fine. So the upshot is, Dee, if we leave the court alone, we can stay free access basketball, single-use basketball is one option. The Football Foundation, they've been investing in lots of sites up and down the country, but their investment comes with kind of strict guidelines in that they will pay for something that becomes a multi-sport court, which will be like what the old Muggers multi-use, something GA, I can't remember what it is, but it would mean it will be a football court, basketball court and netball court. And they're willing to put, I think, over £200,000 in because it would need resurfacing. They'll put new fencing up, but it would have to, because of the strict guidelines of the funding source, it would have to be a multi-sport site, of which will need to be maintained. There's no point putting something nice and shiny new. It's got to be maintained. So that money will cover that as well. But what will happen is not just it will go from being just single basketball, it will go to multi-use. It will also have restricted times, which isn't such a bad thing. We went and spoke to them and found out that there's a lot of community time, but there are people willing to pay for use, and you get a code, you'll get in the gates, you'll have your hour and stuff like that. So it will be less accessible to the community, which I don't think is a bad thing, because if other people are paying, that keeps the maintenance money going. They'd get free access in the morning, free access after school, and loads of time at weekends, and there'd be slots that were paid for, which is fabulous, really nice, shiny, great thing. But as a mother of a basketball player, it would be a real shame to lose a single basketball court to become a shared space. I'm not a person who shares, because I clearly am. But who gets the choice? If you've got 4 young people that go on there and decide they want to play football, or 4 people that want to go and do basketball, there's a field. You can play, in my opinion, you can play football anywhere. 2 coats. We've all grown up with the 2 coats as your goalposts. There's a field, there's AstroTurf. But equally, it would be really nice to have some investment up there. But what we'll lose is the single use. It won't be just a basketball court. And of course, for Luton Basketball Club, they want more people to get involved in basketball. And these kind of basketball courts, they're far and few between. I don't know. I think there's 2 or 3 in Luton, if that. And then up and down the country, lots of them are being changed into multi-use.
Same what you're talking about, yeah.
So that's where we are. And together with Be Active, Active Luton and Luton Borough Council, and they've all been great. We've got one more community meeting. It's next Tuesday, is it? Or next Wednesday? Next Tuesday.
It's next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. It's a drop-in between 6 and 8 at Future's house. Come and tell us whether it's what you want. That's what we really need to know, is what does the community or future basketball players or whoever else, come and have your say, because it's decision time. We can't drag this out anymore. We've got to make a decision, because the Football Association ain't going to wait around forever for us to make a decision. Wayne, I'm going to let you say more about the basketball club and what you've done in the last year to expand it. My son is on his way home. He said if he got home in time, he would say what he thinks, which...
Brilliant.
Yeah, just to add to that, I think just to give it some further context as well, you've got a facility that has a fantastic AstroTurf already, and it also has a huge football field as well beside it. And then obviously the funding is coming from the FA, and obviously because it's multi-use, football must also play its part within that multi-use. So we're not against football, and we're not against multi-use, but to have another resource that's football oriented, it's just like, well, what do we do? I think what compounded this as well, when our findings, there are other courts around the back of Lee Manor as well that we can't get access to. And I believe there was some access discussions some years ago, but that changed with the gates.
It's before the gates are on there. It's the gates and security reasons why that's probably not going to happen.
That facility, sorry for butting in, but that facility for those 5-a-side courts was meant to be for the community. The community centre took it, the sports centre took it over because of the problems that were over there, and the big gates got put up. So then it is then booked via the sports centre. Right. That 5-a-side, huge. Is there four? I think
on the AstroTurf, yes.
Yeah. That are in there. Because I used to do first aid duties in there when I was in St John Ambulance when it was first opened.
Right.
And it was used all the time in the community. But because it then got left open, kids were going in and mucking things up, that then it would then got taken over by the sports centre to look after, and that's when the huge gates went up.
I mean, it's still well used. People are booking it because you can't book a slot on there, and it's well used as a facility. But yeah,
if you've got this is purely down to just where you've got the funding from, unfortunately, and if you've got that already there, for it to not be used for what it's then actually used for is
So the thing is, where we're at is the bottom line is that court needs some refurbishment, and I don't know. I should have done a bit of homework to find out if we wanted to resurface and get new backboards and hoops
without using that funding. How much would it cost?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
You know, we'd have to
because
find
really
that
you're kind
out.
of selling your soul.
Yeah, so the thing about it is, I'll be honest with you, you know, I've worked in communities for years, and I'm not selfish in that just because I'm the mother of a basketball player, because half of Marsh Farm may think, whoa, that'd be great, we can have netball, we can have football. They may want the full netball and the whole lot. So it's not for people who are obviously, clearly me and Wayne are for the basketball, but it should be, that's why we need a wider group of people to have their say. Now, in my opinion, my first option, if we could drum up enough of the community to say that they want, is there feedback? Have we got somebody else online? I can hear someone else who's talking, not talking. Cool. So we could, my first option, and I think Wayne is the same, if we could really pull together as a community, and I don't mean just Marsh Farm, I'm on about across Luton, the people interested in basketball. If we could pull together, get sponsorship, write some funding bids, and say we will get it resurfaced, get it looking good. I don't think that the graffiti needs to change. It's quite iconic. It just needs brightening up again.
Yeah.
You know, that needs, I would like that to stay, but just recoloured. If we could do that, that would be absolutely fantastic. The next option is if I don't want it to be left the same, because it's just going to run down and then it will be just a run down court. So the second option is that we take the hit and get an investment. But it's all about what the community, you know, this is where I get frustrated in my job. People only ever moan when they've lost something, but don't use it when it's there, or don't jump in to help out when it's there. And they only then want to cry when it's gone. We can't afford to wait till it's gone if people want it to stay. And there'll be people out there that work in businesses that might want to sponsor, you know, a new hoop. Even if we do it brick by brick, I don't know. But I think we really need to think about our children. Look, my son, he's done so well with basketball. He never really took to football. There are lots of opportunities for football. I mean, every Saturday and Sunday, you've only got to drive past any field. There's lots. That makes it even more competitive for people, perhaps a bit nervous. You know, you're going to where there's hundreds of, you know, you're fighting against hundreds of people doing football. Basketball's a good sport. It gets people, it's an indoor sport most of the year. It's lovely to be outside and practice on a thing. It is, for me, it's transformed my son's whole life. And I say that because he's gone off to a basketball academy. Had he not gone to Lee Manor Court and met up with Luton Basketball Club, he may have ended up in sixth form college in Luton doing something completely different. He's not really. He's in London. He's at an academy. He's doing his A-levels. He's doing really well. There are so many girls and boys that would be fantastic at basketball. They just need to be able to test it out, try it out, see they like it, and then join the club. The club's just had some investment. We did some really good funding applications. And Wayne, do you want to tell everyone about what's on offer? Because you've got a whole stream of stuff for girls basketball as well, haven't you?
We have, yes, indeed. On the back end of, I mean, the club's been running for 14 years now, and it's been running as a junior national league club. fundamentally under 14s, under 16 boys. A couple of seasons ago, we had a fairly successful girls team, and it was coming along, and sadly our coach stepped away from the game. We knew about it, but we just couldn't keep the girls as a squad together, and sadly they joined other clubs. And you know, we had, of that squad, we had 5 Luton girls that were at the Final Fours National Basketball League Championships over the weekend, representing other clubs. But what could have been from Luton had we managed to keep the girls together and keep the squad together. So immensely proud of every single one of them, because they started their pathway with Luton Basketball Club. Yeah. And Luton's always been a stepping stone, a pathway for many kids that have come through and gone on to brighter and better things, Sully inclusive.
Yeah. So
we want to make sure that continues, but in a more structured environment. We want to grow that pathway, and this season we'll be entering 3 teams, so the under 14s, under 16s, and also under 18s this year. Sadly, we won't be entering a girls team this season, but what we will be doing is creating a community session to encourage more girls from the ages of 8 upwards. So we're effectively going back to the drawing board with regards to girls, yeah, and trying to help that engagement and development, so that they're ready. By the time we're ready to enter into the league again, they will be suitably ready. Okay, so that's a firm mission of mine. In addition to that, I've been a referee, a National League referee for 10 years. God blimey, it seems longer.
The missus is watching.
But when I hung up the boots, I went into refereeing because there just wasn't enough referees in our local area, so I became a referee. And I enjoyed.
When you say you hung up the boots, are you talking about basketball?
I'm talking about basketball, yes, yeah. Oops.
Check you.
Yeah, so I retired from playing 10 years ago and then went straight into officiating. So over the last 2 years, I've been helping where I can to share my knowledge and my support.
Sorry, I keep getting messages where your missus is too old.
Is that my wife sending you messages?
Well, she's putting on Facebook, not sending them to me. They're actually on Facebook.
Yeah, thanks, girl.
And that's the other part of development, isn't it, Wayne? The funding this year is to also grow some training officiators, some of our young people to become referees and table officiates.
Yeah, so we were a year ago, we got together and did approach Denise for some support with regards to funding applications, because anyone that's done any funding application knows it's this thick, takes hours and hours and hours of time. And you never know if you're going to get anything at all, or if you're ever going to get any feedback. So Sport England had an application called the Movement Fund, and with support from Basketball England as well, we were successful in our first application. So part of that application was for new programs, new initiatives to support an engagement program for girls, obviously from the age of 8 and upwards, and also our junior program. So we don't currently have an under 12s program. So a lot of the funding was there to support engagement of juniors, and also to support for facility hire and also coaching hire as well.
Okay, a few questions, a few whatever you want to call it. The meeting's next Tuesday, is that right, or Wednesday?
Next Tuesday.
How quickly can you get how much you need, as in like forget, if you were to forget the funding people and do it yourself? Just stop that.
I could probably find out by the end of the week. I'm sure if we were looking at a really decent reflooring and cut, I think, I don't know, 120 grand. I think the floor alone is 40 grand without anything else. And then you've got to think about maintenance. The investment into the play zone will be around 224,000?
Yeah, I think the figures that were mentioned were £250,000 that was on offer to do everything. So
because it will be a super duper one with, like, you know, the gates and all of that lot. If we could just resurface that court, get 2 really decent baskets, backboards, and probably some benches and a bin for people to put their bottles of water in. You know, I really like a bin over there. We've got this thing about throwing, you know, rubbish.
My son's sort of like football and know so many kids. It's football, and as you sort of said, you can go anywhere and everywhere. For that, I've got another friend who's actually part of Simply Deez, and her son, which I'll have to introduce you to actually, Wesley Moore, basketball, and has played God knows whatever. But in terms of it's so limited, so I'm listening to you guys. I think it was something that you posted, Wayne, and that's why it's so important. Sometimes when people share, before you share stupidness, I'm serious, to me, share something sensible. And I saw that and I thought, right, I need to get him, and obviously he explained about himself, Denise, on the show to explain to the people. And you've given it so much more context. So I'm kind of like, I'd want the basketball.
I do. And I also want, it's not just the court. I really, really want to get people excited about basketball in Luton. It is a football town. It's a football town. I get that. But equally, it could be a tennis town, a basketball town. Let's raise the profile of other sports. Let's get more
exactly
people,
what
not just young people, but other people involved in sports. As a sports mum, you know, I've met a whole community of absolutely fantastic other parents. We at the end of season, we pulled together. We had the MPs down. We did a celebration. It's the social aspects. It's the health aspect. It's the community. Even if you know, I'm glad he picked basketball and not football, because I don't think I could do the cold standing on the sidelines.
No, I've done it, love. I've done it. It's surprising what you'll do for your kids. I'm telling you. But you'll do it.
the parents, I mean, I've met a whole bunch of people that I would never have crossed paths with through the basketball. So there's that aspect. I feel really grateful that my son is into a sport. It's healthy. He watches what he eats. He has less time to be sitting on social media because he's out training or shooting hoops, or, you know, he's interested in the whole wider field, you know, and sponsorship and scholarships. He'd spent 3 weeks in Florida with his basketball team.
Brilliant.
It's open doors. And that is all from a start off of a grassroots sports interaction. And if that could happen to a few more of our young people, I mean, Solly grew up on Marsh Farm. He's now at Barking Abbott. You know, you've seen his progress, Wayne. He's in Barking Basketball Academy. He wants to go further again. You know, from a little court on Marsh Farm, how many more people can that happen for? You know, a lot more. So, yeah, that I'm really passionate, and I hope your listeners can see that. But I'm equally not selfish. And I think if people come out and they go, we're happy to have a multi-use, then that's what we have to go with. But the decision's got to be made by next week. We have to make that decision to come out and have you say, drop in Marsh Farm Futures between 6 and 8. Come and talk to the Be Active Luton and the council. Say what you think. And then from that, we'll be behind the scenes working with them to look at what we go forward. But my dream, let's make this a basketball town as well.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Questions. Are you on any more radio stations or any more, what have you, doing any kind of interviews, or how else are we drumming up publicity for this?
You're the first
radio station.
Okay, so Luton Urban Radio.
And we're proud to say that. Thank you so much for having us.
Don't be worried, that's what this show's for. Luton Urban Radio, is that a yes or a no?
So no, I think it's all a bit too quick now for us to fit in doing that. But what I think after Tuesday's event, maybe we then need to go out to every radio station, particularly if we go for option
but
one.
After Tuesday, hasn't the decision got to be made on Tuesday?
No, basically we can't run it.
Ah.
We need the decision in terms of the amount of people that come out and say what they want, what option will be Tuesday. There'll be some discussions after. There's been quite a few events already and not a lot of turnout. So this was the high kind of drive. They've been going out talking to people on the street, current users, potential users, all sorts of people. There's been a lot of consultation going. This and it's kind of like, let's make a decision now. And we kind of jumped on and said, let's do one more push. We're on Twitter, I think Facebook, Instagram. All of the schools in the local area have had the poster.
I was just going to say.
Yeah, local schools. All potential users, so everyone that's been engaged with the community, if it was a multi-use, what they'd use it for, they've all been involved. They've spoken to Lee Manor. So, yeah, I think, like with anything, you can keep trying to do loads of consultation, but if people ain't out, like I said, the time that will people be out is when they lose it, and then suddenly you have a riot on your hands.
We've told you, we've asked you, we've what have you. Don't want to hear it. Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. Okay. The passion, trust me, the passion has come across from both of you. It really has. And I'm like, kind of like, even though I'm a football kind of mum and grown up with all that kind of like, I'm like, basketball. Nah, I'd be basketball, literally hands down. Let's see, I'm still doing the jokes. Wayne.
I've got in my heart, I genuinely think we could turn this around and make it a really awesome basketball court. I believe that we can do it, but I don't want it to just be 3 or 4 of us. I want the community to come out and say, yeah, let's do it. If they do a cake sale and manage to get enough to have a tin of paint to do one stripe on the backboard, I don't mind. Let's pull together. Let's turn things, because if you see one thing done where
that's right, it just got a ripple. Yeah,
it absolutely. What else can we achieve? Let's not all sit back and just watch stuff disappear or close or actually see a bit of empty space. We've got the opportunity. We just got to use it. Let's go back to the days when people used to pull together. That's my big thing. I think we can do it. And I will stick at it if that's the choice. I will do funding bids. I will do that, but I won't do it alone. Well, I won't do it alone because I've got a basketball club, but you know what I mean.
My
son's not using the basketball courts at the moment. So, I could walk away, but I am not, because I know how important those opportunities are and we cannot afford to lose them.
I take it the Mr. Man is not back yet.
He's just shouted to say that he goes, hi, Mum. He's just walked through the back door.
To tell him I want him, but I'm going to speak to Wade first of all, give him time to compose. Yeah. I'm just going to have a little chat because it's so important, as much as you two, and it's great, but let's hear from a young person and the importance of, that's why I think I was kind of sort of saying young lady, but obviously I get it. Wayne, what do you want to say kind of to maybe potentially kind of wrap?
We're trying to create awareness here more than anything else. Basketball's has a history from Luton, where we've created a number of players that have gone on to play nationally and internationally. We've helped to send kids to other countries for scholarships. We've used our connections. We've had people that have played at country level. And all of that's happened from little old Luton.
It's not so much little old Luton. I know what you're saying. It's not so much little old Luton. We're on the map. We're on the map, and there's so many things, honest to God, that just from the different things that I do, that I know that the young people are doing, and all you hear is people knocking the youth and the this and the that, and they don't hear, and they certainly don't share the positive things that they're doing, and there's much more of that than the not so good. So this is a tick, 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 all, do you know what I mean? All the way. And in terms of, as you're sort of saying, with the young girls, I mean, I know football's doing so well with women now. Certainly, there's another option. There's maybe football's not for you, but do you know what?
We do.
Basketball. And basketball was never an option at school.
Yeah, it's always been difficult because of the knowledge or expertise around the knowledge to actually coach it within schools. And traditionally, it would be netball, hockey, as those kind of traditional sports for the girls. But there's quite a number of girls that want to play basketball. But my experiences over the last couple of years is that girls will join in if they see other girls playing. Yeah. Whereas the boys, you know, you could say, look, boys, we're going to have a game, and you know, 20 kids are turned up out the blue, no problem at all. The girls would want to bring their friends, or can I bring that friend? You know, so there needs to be a safe space for the girls. Yeah, so that they can, so that we can encourage them in the right way, so that they can learn in that space, and then grow from that point, from that particular point. And that takes time. It really, really does. It takes time. So we want to encourage more girls to come out to play. Our community session kicks off from Lee Manor this Friday between 6 and 8. For the month of May, it's free. Yeah, I'll say that again. For the month of May,
these are key things, you know that, for people. Free.
It's free, yeah. So girls turning up.
And then after that, Wayne, because that's the next thing. It's all right. I think it's all right being free, but then how much is it after that?
We're still looking at that. Because what we want to do is we want to keep it as cost effective as possible for every participant. So we're fighting tooth and nail to make sure that it's affordable to keep that interest going. Of course. Yeah. So I can't divulge on that at this moment in time, but believe you me, we're fighting tooth and nail to make sure it's affordable for all. Okay, cool. If you can make sure that you kind of just keep me updated, and we will be sharing right up until the day itself. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be popping along and see who else can round up also as well. Seriously. And this is just it, is people don't have anything to say until after, and then don't want to hear it.
So my son's just said he can't come on, but his choice is find a way to keep it single-use basketball. That's what he's just shouted up. No worries. I will say this: Be Active, Graham and Nicola from Be Active Luton have been absolutely fantastic, ain't they, Wayne? They've put a lot of time and effort into going to speak to people. They've been really patient with me and you kicking off this meeting and stuff like that. They've been fantastic, as Matt from Public Health in Luton Council. They have been brilliant, Active Luton. So I'm really pleased that we're with a group of people that will drive it in the way that the community want it, and they're not precious. If the decision is thanks for finding the funding, but we don't want it, they're like, great, let's find another way then, and they'd still back us in looking at our alternatives. But if we don't go with the Football Association money, they're not just going to go, well, fine, we don't, you know, they will find another plot to do that and use that investment. But they've been fantastic, so I can't knock them. And if any of your callers or listeners are thinking, well, why can't the council do it? You know, it's all about money. It's investments
bottom
and stuff
line.
like that. And there isn't spare money. And it's not just the getting it fancy, it's the maintaining it. You know, when it's broken or it resurfacing, it's got to be maintained to keep it really well. So, and money's not just available. So, you know, I don't sit here thinking, well, they should pay for it and it should stay this and should stay that. Actually, let's find some sponsors. Let's get people excited about basketball, not just the court, but the game and what it can do for Luton, and raise the profile of sports, any sports. You know, we want young people getting active. You know, we don't want them in never doing sports. We need to get them out, get them outdoors, get them socialising face to face, not through a screen, talking and laughing with each other and building their own community of friends through sports. And that's from a person who is not sporty. Trust me, I'm like couch potato. So, yeah, it does good.
Is there a flyer or anything with this? Is there anything like that, or am I just chatting rubbish?
There is a little poster about.
Is there something that you can send me electronically?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. On what's brilliant. And then we can be sharing that and posting that and getting people to do exactly the same as well. So yeah, brilliant.
Fab.
Brilliant. Producer Shelley, let's get the young lady back on, and we're just going to wrap up now. Very interesting, Aisha.
Well, I'm all for getting kids out and about, because being guiding, scouting for years, that it's we've lost all of that. Lost that being out and about.
Yeah.
To actually have a court that was got put in, that you could quite easily just do netball and basketball all together. It just set up and it stays like that. I can see where the funding idea comes from, to have it multi sporting, but it's in this particular situation where that is, it's not needed. It's not needed like that. Somewhere up in Stopsley, I mean, I went to Stopsley High School when you had the sports centre across the road, and we did do basketball because we had the sports centre across the road. But I was aware of other schools that they never ever did basketball because they didn't have the facilities, they didn't have the opportunities, and that was then right back then.
I remember a few years back, Tango Radio, and I can't remember who else. Yeah. They ran 2 basketball tournaments there, and they were national tournaments there, and absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
absolutely incredible. They used they used the inside, but the outside, and just the whole vibe, and just honestly, it was just amazing. Just amazing.
It's a fast-paced game, but when sports at school level, I mean, I've got my nieces, their children are both into football. Both the girl and the boy are heavily into football, as in playing for clubs like Luton Town. But they never had the opportunity to play any other sport.
It's because football is so accessible. Yeah. There is 1,000 little mini clubs, grassroots. So if you want to get into sport, football is usually the first option because it's so accessible. There'll be a football field near you that runs some little leagues from little age. It's accessible. So for me, having more choice, it would be great.
We'd be joking around. I mean, I threw a piece of paper across a room into my waste paper bin. My husband was like, "How did you manage to do that?" And I was like, "Well, all those years of basketball, I can still do it." But yeah, to like throw the ball for the dog. My husband could only throw it one way.
Fundraising adult game, and you can be on one team and see
you. Brilliant. Wayne and Denise, thank you. Honestly, thank you both so much for taking time out today to have this very important conversation. We will be spreading far and wide. Please share, you know, the flyer, the poster, whatever it is that you've got, and then we can be getting
that went out on the community for anyone that gets the Luton Borough Council community email.
Yes.
It's got the details on there.
Oh,
So
thank
that
you.
went out to 32,000. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so that does go out to a lot of different communities. So that's my Google then telling me this type of bed.
Thanks,
time to
Dee.
bed. We've still got an hour. All right. Anything else, guys? Please share it with me.
Can I just ask,
You know,
did any of the community ask any questions or any comments? Has anyone said, "Nah, give it to be football" on your listeners? Or
No,
doesn't
they
it work
haven't
like
actually. They haven't actually turned around and said anything about it. Knowing full well some of the ones that I know that live around in the area, they would be wanting to keep it as a basketball court anyway. So yeah,
fab.
but we'll
we need to hear and see you on next Tuesday, then, please.
Yes.
Exactly that.
Next Tuesday, 6 o'clock. You just have to drop in, show your face. You don't have to stay there for the full 2 hours, but your support will be greatly appreciated.
You coming, Shell? You coming?
Yes, think so. Yes.
Is that a question or direction?
Even though I'm right on the edge of the estate.
Yeah.
They don't need to know that.
Right,
we'll drum them up. Don't you worry, guys. All right. Thank you so much.
Steve, thanks for having us.
See you guys soon. All right. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks, Denise.
No worries.
See you
Bye-bye.
later. Bye. Bye.
Tune in to the next person. Wow. So much going on. There's so much going on, and sometimes you might hear of it, you might think of it, and Wayne posted something. Wayne is actually, oh my gosh, one of our good friends who you've actually met, nephew.
Right.
And his uncle was best man at our wedding. Right. In around, but anyway, known Wayne, and his daughter actually does officials as well, apparently. I think his Gail put that, yeah. I think she's 16. Gail, is she 16? Higher, lower? She's about 16. She's doing so well. So well. But yeah, anyway, Stephen has patiently been paid, but we ain't got no more guests.
Well, you got Tishy's update, but yeah.
Oh yeah. Stephen.
Yes, Dee.
You've been waiting patiently. Now, Shelley, get back on. Stephen, I ain't got no more guests tonight. And the reason, no, seriously, I haven't. But my niece has an update, so Shelley's going to give that update, and then I'm going to come back to you because we're going to spend some time. I've not spoken to you for the longest, but I've been following you, young man. And he's going like shit. I've been following you, and we're going to have a long conversation. So sit tight for like less than 5 minutes, if that's okay. And Shelley's going to give this update, and then we'll be back with you.
That's cool.
All right, wonderful. Thank you. Thanks, Shell.
Right, so I've got a poem first.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Inside. Sometimes I have a fight with myself inside my head because the negative thoughts and feelings can make me question myself and doubt myself inside. I talk inside my head. I tell myself that I am good enough and I will become the person that I want to be. Inside, I'm always thinking about my dreams and desires and picturing what it would be like if I achieve them. Inside, sometimes I wonder why I have cerebral palsy, and sometimes I think inside my head, cerebral palsy is my superpower. Inside the brain is the one going 100 an hour. I'm a confident person, but sometimes inside I'm not, and I need other people to encourage me to do whatever I want that feels right. Sometimes I hide my true feelings inside because I don't want to upset others. But sometimes I'm fed up or I'm frustrated inside. I'm learning to be myself and let whatever I feel inside out. What comes from inside of me is always a part of me, and I'm embracing it. I have a lot of love inside of me, and I know that one day I will share it with someone special. She's going very deep today.
Rah. What was going to say? What time did she send you that? Can you tell?
That was then the poem was then first thing this morning. No, yesterday she sent the poem.
Okay, so before you go further, I just need to point out, somehow, some way, somehow, whatever, if you remember, Olive was on, and what were we talking about? Superpowers. Ching, mic drop.
And bearing in mind, I never ever, and I've always done this with Tisha, and I do say it to her, she sends it to me. All I check is that I've got it, and two, I can open it.
Yeah.
I do not read it.
Isn't it best to just kind of like,
yeah,
because it's rather than know beforehand, it's like kind of, yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say.
Said earlier. Yeah. So, her update. Hello, everyone. Since the last show, life has been good. I've had my hair done 3 weeks ago, ready for my birthday. I went to celebrate to my dad's house to celebrate his birthday on the 26th of April. And we had a barbecue and drinks. Yeah, drinks. Miss Tishy. I went to my nana's last week on Thursday and we had a good catch up and I watched wrestling together. I went on the Carnival Art Centre on Sunday to see Chantier and he made a part of my carnival costume. It was amazing to watch Chantier do what he does best. The Luton Carnival is the 25th of May if you want to come. So we're getting a personal invitation from Tishy. See, this is the reason why she wants everyone to make sure she goes. It's my birthday on Saturday and I'm going to see some of my friends with my carer. I can't wait to catch up and enjoy my birthday. I'm getting something done after my birthday as a birthday present from my dad, and I will share it when I have it done.
The first thing that came into my head was a tattoo.
I'm sure it's going to be. That's the only thing I can think of. Till the next time, people, stay blessed and keep following your dreams no matter what.
On point, mic drop, mic drop, mic drop.
So we don't know the colour that Chantier's doing for her costume this year. I don't know whether we've got a theme going on. I think he hasn't quite said, has he, if there's a theme this year? Yeah.
I've not seen anything, but
we've got personal invitation for Tishy, Carnival, 25th of May, Luton Town Centre.
So just checking, is that a Sunday?
Ooh, I don't know what it is this year.
It used to be Sunday, then it went to Monday, but I know it's a big weekend, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's the Sunday. Yes, that is the 25th of May is the Sunday.
Okay, because I won't be working. Then so well done, Tishy, honestly. Don't know, somehow, I don't know. I'm gonna hook. I don't know.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Especially as Olive was then saying about people that are then non-verbal and how they're actually classified. Because both Tishy and Aaron are both exactly the same, as in classed as non-verbal with different disabilities, but classed as non-verbal and have got a very, 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 very active brain. That is not just, oh, I'm just thinking about what I'm gonna like. Yeah.
Well, to be honest, I don't even know about the first one, Tishy Thomas.
She might have a good look.
And I know. Does Nana know?
Does Nana know?
Tishy Thomas, does Nana know? Oh wow. Anyway, I need to bring on my final
bring Stephen back
guest, and It's very interesting. So, Stephen, that was my niece, Tishi, who I'm just trying to think if you would have ever, you probably haven't met her, but Tishi is, she's getting old. She's getting on, but Tishi's got cerebral palsy.
Okay.
And I think she's about, she doesn't mind me saying, I know she doesn't, she's about 38.
Same age as me.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay, and she's got cerebral palsy. A cerebral palsy. So in terms of, well, if you just was listening, you heard that poem and that update. And let me tell you, nobody's written that. She's typed all of that herself. She's typed all of that herself. She is in a wheelchair.
I don't want to be part of this.
Oh, sorry. She's talking about. This is how my mum is, if you can imagine. So she's got cerebral palsy. When she went to residential college and she was 21, and she'd phone my mum, she was like, "Hi, Nana, I'm at the pub." My mum's going like, "Pub? What do you mean pub?" Because in her mind, you know, she should be at home and should be going anywhere and should be having a life and living her life. And this girl is living her life.
That's so
Steve.
good.
So she's got, so she's actually got a personal trainer that comes, I think it's like twice a week, and does a little routine sort of like thing with him. But only I'm sort of like sharing a bit more with you purely because of what you do. And I'm just thinking, as in, I don't know, there might be, I don't know, an angle or maybe something, because I know it's guys, isn't it? Is it guys, isn't it? It's guys.
It's mainly guys, but I work with both.
Okay. Okay. So, long time, young man, long time.
Too long.
You've got no idea. I've been following, I know how long. I've been following all this time. I've been following you. We're talking way before COVID, way before. And then I see, and I'm going like, check him. I'm like, oh, woo. And I'm sure I've tried to get you on the show before, but I'm going like, I'm going to keep persisting because I'm going to get him on the show.
I told my mum
on the show. Huh?
She told me off. I told my mum. She was like, I said, Deez asked me to come on the show. She's like, Stephen, she asked you before. I was like, yeah, I think so, but I'm here, mum. I'm here now. I'm here. So she's been beating me up.
Yeah, just gentle beats for now. Just gentle beats. You wouldn't have got another blie, I tell you that. You've got some serious beats, some serious licks. So, so it's important for me. This is a show. I've been doing this show since 2018. This is 7 years now.
Jeez.
For 2 years, it's the first Tuesday of every month, so it's not a weekly show. Because everyone's going, why don't you do it weekly? I'm like, do you know how much to kind of like to get your guests to this, to that, to that? You wouldn't have time for anything else, you know? So it's a monthly show. Used to go into a studio in Luton for 2 years. Then COVID hit. It's like, oh, what am I going to do? And I'm like, hey, we go online. And if you think about it, I can speak to people I do overseas and everything. So it works. So we are live, as you know, we're live on Facebook. We're also live on YouTube. So if your mum's told you, she should be watching. She should be watching because people can comment.
Okay, let me tell her off.
Contribute.
I'm going to get my own back now. This is your fault.
Yeah, exactly, innit? So Shelley's, I'm sure, has shared the link. If you've not got it, share the link, share it out to your peeps. So what I need to know from you, Stephen, we're not going to dive into what you're doing quite yet. Because because people think like, oh, she knows him. I don't really. I might make out that I do, but I don't. So I love to have a little bit of a foundation before I get into anything. So when I say that, I like try to peel people back like onion. So I want to start sort of like where you were born, how many siblings you got, and then I'll kind of direct you, if you know what I mean. And then, yeah, we'll go.
Well, we're going way back.
Yes, my dear. And I know you said you're 38, but even you can remember that far back. So where were you born? Are you a Lutonian at all? Are you Lutonian?
Yes, I was born
No
in
way.
the L&D hospital.
Oh, check you out. Ah, okay.
And lived opposite on a Dunstable
Oh,
Road. That's
oh,
me.
really?
Yeah.
Okay, right. I wasn't sure whether it was Luton or not, but okay, that's absolutely fine. So you're one of how many?
3.
One a tree. And where do you fit?
I'm the baby.
Surprise, surprise.
So let me tell you something. I'm the baby.
Yeah.
They say my sister's the oldest, but they say she looks the youngest. And I'm the youngest, and they say I look the oldest. So it's rude. They're rude.
That's so, whatever the word is, because my sister is older than me, and no, she's not. What am I talking about? She's older than me. No, she's not. She's younger than me. She's younger than me. And people used to say sort of like she looked older. When I was younger, I was vexed. I was like, I'm the oldest. Why is she looking up? And then, obviously, over time, I'm like, uncle, she vexed. I'm glad. Okay, so one of 3. Okay, that's not bad. Not bad. Okay, school. How was school? Did you enjoy it?
I loved school. I
Is
love
it?
school.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I had 100% attendance.
Check you.
Till I went to college. But I had 100% attendance all the way through school. Yeah, man.
Okay. Oh, look at him, a show off on me. 100% attendance, very good. So, okay, subjects, did you enjoy? Because back then, there wasn't much choice, as in like attending school or not attending. You have to attend school. So, did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for sure. I think in terms of being with my friends and playing games and football and wrestling and basketball and all them things there, yeah, loved it. Loved it. With classes itself, they were challenging at times, just simply because the schools that I went to Halyard.
Okay.
It's not even called Halyard. It's not even there anymore. And
it's called something else.
Yeah, it changed name, I think, like twice, because I must have go to look for it, and I was like, "Where's it gone?" Because now where the school was, it's a field, and where the field was is where the new school is built.
Yeah,
it's crazy. So then I went online somewhere, and there was like, "Oh, Halyard is finished," and I was like, "Nah, could never," because obviously that's all I know, right?
Yeah.
But nah, the school was definitely an interesting place, as Luton is. Luton's definitely an interesting place. There's lots of things that go on. And I think I was very fortunate that my mum and my dad, they passed on lots of good skills and street smarts to me, so I keep out of trouble.
Yeah. It's that just like I'm talking about now, it's that foundation, isn't it? And at the time, 100%. Just like, as in like my sons will say, it's like, at the time you guys think like, my gosh, because obviously your friends, them are living there, they live in a totally different life to how you're living, right? Yours is kind of probably firm, probably strict, probably all that kind of stuff. And they're doing whatever they want to be doing. And you're thinking envy. But then it's only later on in life you understand all those things that we kind of try to instill in you are serving you good now, right?
100%. Like, I was very fortunate that I loved basketball. So
did you hear us talking about basketball?
Yeah, of course I did. I was looking, I was like, do I know him? I must have come across him. Must have. Because me and my boy Alex, we used to go everywhere. We were inseparable. If Alex was about by himself, they say, "Where's Stephen?" If I'm about by myself, they're like, "Where's Alex?" And they even thought we were brothers and stuff, because we used to have cornrows and all them things there. So we used to be in South Luton. We used to be in Lee Manor. We used to be Leland's. we used to be everywhere playing Hockwell Ring, all different places playing street basketball in the summer. And we used to go to Leland's on a Lee Manor on a Friday, because they used to have a run there. I used to go into Houghton Regis to play basketball. I was everywhere, just walking, either bike or stepping. That's it. You don't have money for taxi or nothing like that. You have to, you're 2 foot and get there.
Did you say taxi? What's that?
It wasn't even a thing. Yeah. It wasn't even a thing. I remember when bus used to cost me 95 pence returning to the town centre. Mad.
Oh, the good old days, eh?
The good old days, for sure. And my mum always used to like swimming, so I did lots of swimming down Lucy Farm.
Yeah.
Lucy swimming pool. And my mum and dad were really happy because I grew up on computer games, but I'm very in the middle. If I had the option whether to play computer games or go out and play basketball, I was picking basketball all day. So I was fine like that. So when I was hearing one of the previous guests, I was like, I respected that, because if my mum and dad just left me to play games all the time, I would have been like quite anxious, probably very, very introverted and stuff, and not know how to deal with myself. But I played basketball, I did karate, taekwondo, swimming, anything and everything.
That's brilliant. That's
I was
brilliant.
involved.
So school was, what was your favourite subject? Bearing in mind all you talked about sports.
So PE was definitely very, very good. And I think, okay, the problem with school is I didn't mind learning that much. Like I was happy with it, but with the school and how Halliard was, it's very difficult to be in the right environment to learn. So I did like English and I did like maths. And my dad used to, oh man, the amount of beatings I got for not knowing my times tables, my goodness. I used to finish dinner, and then while he's still eating, he say, Stephen, stand at the head of the table. Right, you got to do your 2 times 2 table. You got to do your 3 times 3. And then if I mess up one of them, why are you stopping? What you doing? Listen, it was short leash, man. Short leash.
Oh, I hear you.
So yeah, it was good.
So when you say the environment, because this is so important that sort of like people understand the environment that you're in, because you're in a certain environment at home, and then when you walk through them doors and you've gone out, as my son would say, it's a different something.
Completely different ball game.
It's
Completely. Yeah,
he's been on this show before when I started the show, and we were in the studio and Lloyd was there and the younger one was there as well. And I said, because the show's called Real Talk, right?
Yeah.
I said, I haven't called it Real Talk for just because you're my sons, you come on and like, oh, we're the bestest parents and we're this and we're that. And I said, keep it real. I said, how was your experience growing up? So they're there and they're going like, strict, we were so strict. And Lloyd's going like, you can imagine Lloyd, innit? And I'm like, leave them. That's the whole point. I need them to talk. So it's like we were so strict, which we were. You know, when you reflect, we were strict, and that's kind of, you know, what you inherit. But anyway, we were strict. And then he's sort of saying like at home, you know, we sort of said X, and that's what had to happen basically. And but he goes, when we stepped through that door, he goes, we had to act different.
100%.
Because we'd have got eaten out there.
Facts. You would have got
mashed. Know, and he's 32. The eldest is 32, and the other, and Savannah's 31. And kind of me listening to that, because at the time I don't know how long I've been doing the show. Did I say 7 years?
7 years.
Me listening to that, he was like probably about 25, and hearing kind of like, as in, you know, when we say we listen to you guys, we say we're listening, but I found we weren't listening.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
But we weren't. Because there's things that he was dropping, and I'm like, I didn't, you probably said it, but I didn't kind of actually compute what you were saying and what you're trying to say.
That's the environment. That's the environment for sure. Like, if you're not in a place to receive, then you can say, oh yeah, cool, yeah, I'm listening to you, but you're not. You just want to respond as opposed to listen and think about what they're saying. Because yeah, my dad used to be like, oh, living under my roof, so it's my rules, that's it, shut down, you couldn't say nothing anymore, you just hang your head down and walk off, that's it.
And you're thinking now there's so much that you probably wanted to say or tried to say, but we're not listening. We say we are, but we're not.
No, it's interesting because I come from a dual heritage background. So my mum was a lot more think about and listen. She listened quite a lot. And I get a lot of my patience from her. Whereas my dad was very traditional, come from Jamaica. Listen, when I speak, that's it. Like,
yeah,
my mum was my friend.
I speak, you're silent.
Yeah. That's it. My dad was my dad, and my mum was my friend. If you knew, if you was in the house and my mum was there, I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna get in trouble, but I can deal with this. It's gonna be all right. If my dad's in there, nah, finish. You get licked down with a belt, slipper, everything. Yeah.
Oh wow. So you left school?
Yes.
Left school, college, I don't know, what did you do?
Well, what everyone's parents were saying, go to college, go to uni, get a degree. Once you got that, then you're good.
Did you do all of that?
Hands of you and you're good. Yeah, of course I did. I definitely wasn't happy with it, because I realized later that how I would have gone about things would be completely different. But I'm glad I went and did. I went back to Luton sixth form and I redid my maths and English, and I did leisure and tourism. So you had to have like 3 subjects when you're in Luton sixth form. So I went and got maths and English straight away in the first year. And
so what were you looking to do with that? Be a travel agent? I don't know.
No, I'm 17. I don't know. I just turn up in it. My dad said, look, you got to go do something, otherwise you're going to be a bricklayer or you're going to work in some mashup place. Like, you have to go get some skills. I said, all right, cool. So I went there, and I didn't know if I was going to pick between Luton sixth form or Barnfield. But then I thought, do you know what? I want to go and do sports science because I love psychology. I love basketball. I love human movement. And going to Luton sixth form, there was definitely crazy amount of skills that I wouldn't have learned if I didn't go. So in the first year, I did maths and English, and leisure and recreation, and that was really, really cool because I got both my GCSEs, maths and English straight away. And I remember the teacher telling me, he goes, oh my God, Stephen, that's so amazing. And I was like, sir, I'm not meaning to be rude. I said, I'm not dumb, but the school I was at, the environment wasn't right. When I came into Luton sixth form and everyone was there and I was like, rah, these people want to learn. I was like, I'm all for this. Like, I'm ready to put in the work. And I came out.
See, this is the key thing, in the right environment.
Facts.
If you're not in the right environment, then you will not learn, you will not thrive.
100%.
And at such an age, so many young people get written off.
100%. 100%.
Whether it be excluded or whatever the case might be, or you're not going to amount to nothing. All you need to hear is some of them words, and regardless of that, stays up here, right?
100%.
So you're now in the right environment for you to start growing and thriving.
Yeah, I said, because that's the thing. Obviously, I think out of Halliard, I came out with double science. So for whatever reason, couldn't do English by itself, couldn't do maths by itself when I was in school. But you put them both together. Hey, listen, I got double C in science. I was fine. I don't know what was going on there, but I got it. So then, obviously, my dad wasn't very happy when I didn't get my grades, and it spelt more like fudge as opposed to getting like A's and B's and C's. But I went back and I said, nah, okay, Steve, you got to apply yourself. You still don't know what you're doing yet, but definitely have some basics and foundations of what we're talking about, right? And I got some amazing foundations from the leisure and recreation course, because on one of the courses I did, we did a higher national diploma, and it meant you got an opportunity to go out into the community and do some support work. So you could either support older people, or you could support children with disabilities. And our class decided to go with people with children with disabilities. So I ended up working for a charity for 5 years, and it was for children with mainly autism. And that was like an amazing experience of understanding empathy and understanding people and understanding that everyone has an amazing amount of potential. It's about being in the right environment and asking the correct questions for the person to be able to express themselves and be in a safe space that they can say whatever they want without judgment. And that's one of the best things I got from Luton Sixth Form while I was there.
Wow. So many things you've touched on there that I don't know at what time you joined in the show. Our very first guest, Olive, who Empowered Learning is the name of her organisation, and she does amazing thing. People with ADHD, autism, and all sorts of stuff like that. So the fact that you're mentioning that, the fact that you're now mentioning that you had a choice and you worked with young people with those disorder is probably not the right word, but yeah, oh my gosh, it's like it's so aligned.
I know 100%, because I've been sitting in the wings, I've been listening, and I was like,
yes.
you know what? I'm glad I'm here, because 100% this is people's, this is my people's.
And I want people, and for me also as well, is for people on the show to link, is to like follow one another and link. And sometimes what's happened is people have then started maybe potentially working together, or maybe crossing contact, I don't know, whatever it might be, but things have happened just by sort of like just coming on a show, having a conversation, maybe another guest or whatever the case might be, and somebody then recommends you to somebody else because they've now heard you speak on the show, or I don't know, it just spirals. It just spirals from there. So what was your first job?
Man, it was the most boring thing ever. So I told you about my friend Alex. His mum was one of the managers. I'm going to do a throwback now. Do you remember a drink shop called the Drinks Cabin? Right. That was my first job. I was there for 1 month, and I said,
what were you doing? You weren't selling no drinks.
Yeah, I was selling alcohol.
You were selling alcohol?
Yeah, because I'm born in October. So I'm one of the older people in my year. So as soon as I turned 18, Alex's mum was like, oh, Steve, I need some people in the shop. And I know you and I trust you. Yeah, do you want to work in the shop? I said, cool, that's fine. It was the most boring little square I ever worked in my life. It was boring. And I said, do you know what? This is the best work experience that I've had, because this is 100% not what
you don't want to do.
Yeah, 100%.
That's the good thing about, yes, exactly that. Exactly that. Yeah. So you've then moved on to, I don't know, what have you moved on to? So,
because I was in, because you do work experience when you're in high school, you also do work experience when I was in college as well. So the first work experience I did was in B&Q, and I was like, okay, this place boring as well. Hell no. Like, I was glad I got like tonsillitis or something, and I had to take a couple of days off. So I was like, Liz, I'm out here. Took my stuff, got better, came back, and I was just like, oh, this is fair. If this is what people like, that's cool, but it's not for me. I'm a people person. So then the second time I did work experience, I actually went back to Halyard, and I was there for 2 weeks, and I was an assistant teacher. Yeah, really? I was an assistant teacher. Oh, it was the craziest thing, because I was looking over one of the basketball class, like PE classes, And I remember watching the game and I was like, oh yeah, I'm loving it. Let's go. Someone's going to score. This is good. This little boy's pulling on my shirt. He's going, sir, sir. And I'm like, oh, he's talking to me. Okay, cool. And I'm only 17. I'm like, but clearly to him, I must look like some old person or something, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. And it was a really, really good experience because I felt like I was able to give back to some of the kids. And I think because of the energy that I have and how I am as a person, they connected quite well to me. And they were very receptive to encouragement and advice that I would give them for the 2 weeks. So that was really, really fun. Then, yeah, when I went to this drinks cabin thing, I was like, nah, that's dead. Then, as I went to uni and I was playing National League basketball. So I played,
check you.
Yeah, played basketball to a high level, which I loved. So at Luton sixth form, we were absolutely amazing. We were murking everyone. Luton sixth form, when I was there for a good two years, we were there. Now we was murking, so that was sick. And then I went to Bedford. I played for the Bedford Bulls, and we won the Division 1 at the time. So that was really, really good. And I was doing applied sports science. So I did a foundation degree before I topped up into a full degree. And that was a really, really an amazing experience. But it was also kind of a low time in my life because I was playing National League basketball, but I got a hernia. So I got an inguinal hernia and it meant I wasn't able to play. So I'm 22, 23. And I'm like, man, my body doesn't work. I'm only 23. Like, what am I meant to do? I felt disabled because I couldn't run when I want to run. I can only stand up for half an hour because my core, my abs start hurting. And I would probably say it was probably the first time in my life that I had some sort of depression, I guess, because when you're young, you're invincible. Nothing can't stop you, and you just go, yeah, cool, man, I'm back. And it was a very sobering moment because I tried to go back and I put on so much weight because I was eating the same foods as I was eating when I was playing National League. And back then, metabolism's good. I'm playing basketball 2 to 3 hours each day, like 4 days a week. I can have Papa John's if I want. Like, I can eat what I want. It's good. And then eventually I put on a ridiculous amount of weight. And that was crazy because I was like, my body's not mine. And I woke up with stretch marks. And it's when I woke up with stretch marks, I said, now, Steve, you need to go do some madness, yeah?
So you didn't wake up with stretch marks. They'd probably been over a period of time, but you didn't notice.
Over a period of time. And then I was like laying in my bed. I was like, what's pulling on my skin? And then all of a sudden I look and I saw a stretch mark and I said, nah, Steve, this is not for you. This is not it. So I went on a water cracker diet and I was just drinking water and Jamaican water crackers. That's it. And it was mad because if you look at me now, it's like I really, really understand the science and the psychology behind it and why people eat certain things. But back then I didn't know what I was doing. And I managed to kind of, when I left university, I sidestepped the recession because that's when the recession was hitting. I was still in uni. So I finished uni and then I signed on to the job center and I had to fight the council to get my money because so many people were on it at the time. They didn't want to pay out my employment support allowance because I couldn't work for 2 months when you have operation. Then I re-herniated, and this will make you laugh. They tried to give me the second operation on Friday the 13th. I said, I'm good. I said, cool, keep that. I don't want that. So then after that time, I put on so much weight and I tried to go back to National League and I just didn't have the fitness and didn't have the strength. So I was basically sitting in my room for 9 months and I said, Mum, actually, no. During that 9 months, I started teaching myself Japanese because I wasn't learning anything else. My uncle, he lives in Japan. So I was like, let's learn some Japanese because my brain's turning to mush. Like, I feel like I'm getting stupider by the minute. Like, I can't function. I need to create an environment where my brain's eating on something, right? So went to, I said, Mum, please, here's my CV, just do something. And that's how I ended up at Nuffield Health as a fitness instructor in Paddington. And I was there for 14 years.
Really?
Yeah, man, I'm old school.
Wow.
I wasn't jumping ship to ship to ship. I stayed there and grafted it out for 14 years.
Good.
And then I was, again, it's a very interesting place because when you're a personal trainer, it's a very, very tough industry. And the churn rate is ridiculously high. But I definitely had the most amazing times of my life and experienced and met some incredible people during that time. Like, I made some amazing friends. So being from Luton and being in Paddington was an interesting experience, because in Luton you could really see the effects of like recession and like how poor like Luton is. But when you're in Paddington, they're walking around like nothing was even happening. And it was really, really weird to see, because obviously that makes me very, very sensitive to money and things like that. But then you start blending with them and asking more questions and asking more questions. And then you find your feet, and then you big yourself up because you realize how resilient you are, and you manage to make it and get some nice connections. And then about 6 years in, I was like, Stephen, I'm so close to having what I want. A really, really good business where I can have more impact and help as many people as possible. So I went on my own, I went on a mentorship. So
Okay.
I went up to Nottingham and went and worked with these guys at M10. And when I walked in the room, I said, yeah, this is exactly where I want to be, because iron sharpens iron, and I need to be at the top of the game. I'm here for it, yeah. Paul, let someone look at my blind spots, because I can't know everything. I can't.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I went through my own body transformation journey. So during the time I was at the gym, my weight yo-yoed up and down, like most people. But then when I went on the mentorship, different. I learned how to help people even more, how to get amazing results, how to give amazing service, and how to work in synergy with other people. So you're like connecting and networking and stuff. And I traveled a lot. Clients are like, Stephen, come to South Africa, come to Italy, come to all these different places, because they're getting married and stuff. So I was very fortunate. And I definitely give a lot of gratitude to that I was in the right place at the right time. I managed to experience, like, I've done lots of traveling. I went to Vegas a couple of years ago on my passport, and I was there with my partner Chelsea and brothers. They checked all their passports first, and I said, oh, that's cool. Then they looked at mine and they said, oh, here's the traveler, because I just had so many stamps. And that was the same passport that I used when we went to Turkey.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, man.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, here we are, like 14 years later, and now I'm doing online coaching, online transformations, and helping as many people as possible just become the best version of themselves, knowing that it's okay for you to make mistakes. It's okay for you to be upset sometimes, and then it's now time for you to fortify your mind and strengthen yourself, and not just have me in your corner, have yourself in your corner, to big yourself up and be strong and resilient.
So that's not just, I mean, I don't know about personal trainers, but that's more than, in my mind, from just listening to you, that's more than a personal trainer. I'm getting much more.
100%. This is the biggest thing, right? I think lots of personal trainers, they're made out to be like Judge Dredd. Yeah, that you just come in and then they just set hellfire upon you, yeah, and just mash you up and make you do reps and burpees and this and that. And when I started out, it's definitely how you are, and I I love that, because that's just the base. As long as you can teach someone to train effectively, you're already giving them a gift of celebrating what their body can do. And then once you you get more and deeper into it, I love talking to people and understanding where they come from. Because once I can understand their mind, then I can help them understand themselves and help them become confident in where they need to be, and put them in awkward conversations or awkward positions so they can be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
I was just trying, I'm on my phone and I'm just trying to, do you know what I wanted? I know I've seen on your page a before and after picture of you, and I wanted to get the producer to post it up.
Okay, so that right there, that happened when I first did my mentorship. Okay, so the reason why I did that is because when I'm training people, I love training. I'm mash up. I love training. If I'm there, I'm sweating, I'm pushing weights and I'm out of breath, I'm like, I love it. Yeah, and I get more energy from it. Some people look at it and they just go, nah, that's not for me. That's too hard. Allow it. It's dead. I was 105 kilos, and then I went all the way down to
that
81.
kilos and that still up to now don't work with me. I'm like, don't know how many luggages of suitcases that's how I have to look. But I mean, I like, our producer is so good.
So that was me while I was at uni.
She's on your page.
Yeah. If you skip to the next one, yeah. So from the first picture to the second picture, I had lost, say, 4 stone.
Jeez.
Yeah. And I did that in 14 weeks.
14 weeks?
Yeah.
Is that too quick? Is that not too quick?
No. It's, do you know, okay, this is, so for it to be realistic, it's like I said, I'm into fitness and I wanted to understand the mechanisms. So understand calories and emotional eating and those sorts of things. Because I had a coach looking on me and he was making sure that I was doing everything correctly. I said, listen, when you say, if he tells me to jump, I'm going to say how high. Like, I'm here, I'm in it. Whatever you want me to do, I'm going to do it. So I was on about 2,000 calories. Yeah, I was on 2,000 calories for the first 12 weeks. And then on the last 4, I dropped down to 1,500 calories. And yeah, the weight just flew off me. I had plenty of energy. I felt really, really good. I was ridiculously light. And yeah, man, the shape was crazy. And I can now understand what I'm asking my clients to do. So that's the reason why I did it. 1, because I knew I could do it. And I was like, yes, I want to be like that. But 2, I also want to understand what my clients go through, so then I can become a better coach and help people through those like bits of like, I'm not feeling very amped today, or I need a little bit more support here or there. I'm like, yeah, this is how you're going to feel. This is what's happening. And I love the teaching part. I love it. So yeah, it was
so
14
much
weeks
more
and 4
to
stone.
you. And that was why sort of like, and I was like, sit tight, because I wasn't going to have you on for like, do you know what I mean, 15 minutes, have a quick chat about, and that's it. It's a case of, for those people that are watching and listening, to know, you have to know where somebody's come from to where they are now. No point sort of saying, oh, this is you now, and everyone's like, oh, he's led such a great life and blah 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 blah, it hasn't really worked. It's just, no.
Yeah,
you know, just 100%. The whole kind of like, you know, and there's so much stuff that I didn't even know, and that was so interesting for me. Just learning and sort of like hearing and sort of like seeing where you are now, which is absolutely incredible, young man. Mum and Dad must be so proud of you.
They are.
So how's the cat? Got to ask, how's the cat or cat?
So
I follow you.
There's two of them.
I told you.
We've got 2 Norwegian forest cats. They're called Odin and Frigg, named after the Norse gods. And we got Odin when we just moved into Paddington. So during lockdown and living in London, I lived in so many places. I went from Hillingdon to West Norwood to Paddington, and before I left, I lived in Paddington, 5 minutes from the gym that I was working at. And when we were there, Chelsea and I decided to get a cat. So we were watching Star Trek, and there was this big cat on there. I said, Chelsea, if we're gonna get a cat, it has to be like this. And it was a Norwegian forest cat. So literally 2 days later, she sends me a picture of this little baby cat. It's the cutest thing ever. And I just went, Chelsea, what have you done? Like, what have you done? Because I already know I'm going to say yes. If she says, yeah, we're going to go get him. So we went and got him. And Frigg was from the same litter. And they were like the last 2 cats left. So we took Odin. And they were like, oh, do you want Frigg as well? I was like, our place is quite small. So I don't know how they're going to get on. So yeah, let's get Frigg. We took Odin. And then a year later, we got Frigg. So we went back and we got her because they wanted to rehome her because they're show cats.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, proper pedigree things. They're amazing. Like Odin's like a little boy. You could just pick him up, hug him. He's chilling. He'll leave you. Like, you do what you want with him. And then Frigg, she's the consent queen. She has to say, she has to rub her head on you to say, okay, you can stroke me now. Otherwise, nah, she won't have it.
Oh my gosh. Stephen Dawkins. My gosh, it's
Yes.
like this is your life. Wow. Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. What's next?
What's next is growing. Is growing the online, growing the amount of support. Helping.
Okay, so really, if you're online, that means you're global, right? You can
Exactly.
Anybody, anywhere.
Yeah. So I have clients in Lagos. I have clients in the US. I have clients in Europe. I have clients all over the UK. And again, so this was something that was born out of COVID. I was very fortunate. Yeah, I was very fortunate, and I was furloughed. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take a leap of faith, and I'm just going to have a swing at life, and let's see what happens. And that's when I created the 8-week challenge, and that was my first online offering. And then that's now evolved fully into the online coaching. So the results that you see, I have to walk the talk, and I have to lead from the front.
Yes.
And so here we are.
Okay, give me a typical day, as in like food wise, as in gym wise, and how do you relax? That's how we'll wrap up.
Okay, cool, perfect. So I'm an early bird, right?
How early is early?
Well, this is past my bedtime, Dee. This is past my bedtime. So
that's Shelley, the producer. You kept him up late.
Yeah, no. I would normally go to bed, real talk, probably like 9:30, and I'll get up about 6:30 in the morning, 6 in the morning.
Sleep right through.
Yeah. Knockout. Finish. I sleep good. Yeah, man. I sleep good. So
that just sounds so early. Look at the time. It's 10 o'clock.
Yeah, and I'll still get up at 6. That's it. Boom. Like the Undertaker, and I'll just sit up and I'll be like, right, cool guys, it's time.
Do you see how thingy? Because Tishi, who's my niece, who's just posted on there about the gym thing, she loves wrestling. Tishi, did you hear him? The Undertaker. How you mentioned that, and she's just posted. See what I mean? Alignment. My mum loves still now loves wrestling. And if I go around there and my mum's not talking to me, I've gone round to see her. She ain't got nothing to say to me. Wrestling.
But see, no,
sorry. So you get up then, and then what are you eating?
So I'm a bit of a robot. Okay, I can eat the same thing again and again and again, right? But I cook everything. So again, during lockdown, I taught myself how to cook all the traditional Caribbean foods, loads of Japanese foods, Indian food, and stuff like that. So I can pretty much cook anything, which is good because it does give me that variety. But I could eat the same thing for like a good 2 to 4 weeks. So in the morning, I'd wake up, I'll have some porridge with some water, dash it in the microwave, yam that down, get to the gym, these headphones on, I look at what my training program is, put on some music, mash that out, then I do the Stairmaster.
So how long are we
afterwards.
talking?
I won't train for more than an hour. Forget that.
Okay.
Yeah, more than an hour. If you're there and you're training for 2 hours in the gym, you can use that time to do something else. So my motto is, I want you to be in the gym, but I don't want the gym to take over your life, because life is for living. But I want it to support it so you can live that life to the maximum. So you're not getting knee pain, joint pain, like acid reflux, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, that's what I'm clearing up. I'm making sure that you are the best version of yourself. So when you wake up, when you go to work, your like game face is on. You're not like, oh, it's Groundhog Day, it's the same day. I'm like, nah, Chelsea, it's time, let's go. I'll put on my tune, blaze up the tunes. The tunes are on for 5 minutes, then I'm ready. Then I will come back, I'll read a book. So I'm always reading some sort of self-development. At the moment, I'm reading a really good book called Your Next Big Leap. And it's 1 page a day. And it's very heavily on affirmations, because I really believe in affirmations. So I do some affirmational work, and that gets me vibed for the day. Then I'll be messaging my clients and giving out as much support as I can to them, make sure that they're okay, everything's good. Then I will be recording content. So I've got my little office here that I'm still putting together. I'll be recording content and reading, doing lots of reading on what people are doing and what people are saying. And then if there's anything from my story that I can help connect them with, then that's what I will do, because people want to be part of a tribe. People want to be understood. And if I can give some of my trials and tribulations to them, then they like open up. So I'm always on Instagram or Facebook, reaching out to people, sending out messages, making sure everyone's okay. And then I have lunch. So lunch could be jerk chicken. I could have some rice and peas and jerk chicken. The number one rule is the rice and the chicken gets weighed. As long as it gets weighed and it's within that calories, I eat that. So I can have jerk chicken, fried chicken. I made Japanese ramen today. I make like Japanese style chicken. I can do anything you ask me, cake,
Where
anything
do you live
you
again?
want.
Where you live? Where you live?
Okay, so this is the last part. I live far now.
Yeah,
I live
I knew you'd
in
say
Suffolk.
that. Typical.
Yeah, I live in
You
Suffolk.
hear him, he cook anything, everything, and now he tell me he live far.
No, for real. But you know what? Next time, one Christmas, I made jerk chicken on Christmas Day, and my dad's girlfriend, she said, Stephen, that was the best. That was proper jerk chicken. I said, cool. So actually, I'm getting a jerk pan. I'm getting
Check
one,
you.
see, because I have to do it proper, right? So I will get a picture and I'll send it over to you. You can see it. But I can cook some Jamaican food and all.
Why would I want to see the jerk pan? Why would I not want to taste the food, but you want to show me a picture of the jerk pan?
You can you have to smell the picture or something and just go, okay, cool, this is what it's about. Now for real, when I'm back in the ends, I'll bring some stuff down. I'll bring and you can taste it for yourself.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then I will get into bed around 8:30, 9 o'clock, do some more reading. And then that's it. I'm out. I read before bed. I don't watch TV or anything like that. I'm reading before bed.
That's a workout on its own, all of that.
Nah. This is chill. This is cool. Actually, I go and get 10,000 steps. So where I am, there's a little lake, and I just walk around it, and that's like my brain gym. It just allows me to just think about everything that's going on during the day.
Yeah.
And then I do a daily review at the end of each day and write down 3 tasks I need to do for next day, and then reflect on how the day went. So I'm always showing gratitude and things I can do differently and all that sort of stuff. Then I do my reading. Before I even don't put on a storybook. If you put on like Audible or something, I don't even reach the timer. I'll put the timer on for 10 minutes. I don't make 10 minutes. I'm gone. So yeah, that's a day in the life.
Mr. Dawkins. Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
Right. Now, when I reach out to you again, so look, I've got different people. This is a good friend of ours. She's part of the Simply Deez crew. I can read what she's written.
How much rice and peas? I'll be honest. This way I might be a bit of a Jafaican, because when I was a kid, I didn't like. I used to have kidney beans put in it, and I was like, nah. Gunga peas. Gunga peas. I'm here for that. So rice and peas, I'll eat it, but I won't have more than about 100 grams per portion, and that just keeps everything cool, keep you nice and lean. So you see them transformation pictures there, you could eat like Jamaican food, yeah, and get like that from that, because that's literally what I would do. When I was doing my prep, I would have 2 Weetabix for breakfast. This is 1,500 calories, right? So I'd have 2 Weetabix, 3 Weetabix for breakfast. Then I would have about I'd make 1 fried dumpling, or eat 1 fried dumpling. I would eat 1 fried dumpling. I'd make a batch. I'd eat 1 fried dumpling.
Yeah.
Then I'd have a stir fry with 100 grams of chicken and lots of peppers, bean sprouts, carrots, all that stuff in. Eat that down. Then I'd have another fried dumpling. Then I would have another stir fry. And then I would just mix in like fried chicken and things like that. As long as I weighed it, my weight was coming down, everything was good. So yeah, calories are king.
Wow. I'm going to get you back, Mr. Dawkins.
100.
So when I reach out to you, now that you kind of know, you know the vibe, you know it's enforced. It is what it is. It is what it is. I don't want anybody coming on and being anything bar themselves, because as a viewer, you want the realness.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? You want the realness. So thank you. I know it's past bedtime and it's a school night.
Yes. Every day's a school night.
Oh, bless you. Thank you. Honestly, thank you so much. If anybody wants to get hold of Stephen, ask any questions or information, all his stuff, Facebook, Instagram, etc., is going across the page. If you miss anything, obviously reach out to us and we will then connect you and send that over to you, because we have a few people watching now. But what we do, we get people sort of like in a week, in a month, in 2 months. There was some guy on your. You're thinking like, my gosh, people watch it, as you know.
Exactly.
Obviously, it's on YouTube as well. So we'll stay in touch,
100%.
and follow us, and then you'll know what we'll be getting up to as well.
No, 100%, 100%. You're locked in. You're locked in.
All right, Steve. Thank you so much, darling. I'll catch up soon.
Dee, thank you so much for having me.
No worries.
Yes, we'll
Tell
catch up
Mum
again
you've done
soon.
the deed, or hopefully she was watching, right?
Hey, this is it. If she wasn't,
that's it. We'll get her.
Exactly. We're both. I'll let you knock on the door so she could see you first,
in it,
and question afterwards.
Oh, bless you. All right, darling. Take care.
All right. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh my gosh. Oh, if you've tuned in tonight for celebrating 7 years of Real Talk with Simply Deez, absolutely something else. Really, where's that producer woman? Where is she? I hope she ain't falling asleep.
I'm not falling asleep. Him saying about portion control, that was one of the biggest things of my last bit of weight loss. that I've changed, because I've for years you cut things out, and it's like, oh, okay, then it's
You crave it more, yeah.
Yeah. And then just change it to actual portion control. Watch what you're actually eating, and get to that point of, okay, if it's on your plate, don't eat everything that's on your plate. If you're full, stop. You can reheat it for, like if you're eating it at lunchtime, you can reheat it for dinner. You know,
I think there's certain things that we've conditioned or we trained, you know, you eat what's on your plate and and all that kind of stuff, and it kind of sticks with you, or it's like waste and can't afford to wait. You know, just things like that like kind of like that are in here that you don't realise that you can't shift, and it's like, oh my gosh, you know, I'll be honest, if I'm sort of scraping something, it's like, oh, waste. But it's like, you don't have to eat it all. You're full. Why are you still eating? There's no, sorry, there's so much excitement. There's no more space. So, because of the time, it's 10:05, and I had a long day today. No word of a lie, I started 7:10 today, and I clocked out at 4 minutes past 5.
Wow.
Though, remember, it's the day after bank holiday, so
you got double,
And then when I clocked in, is it like, are you supposed to be on holiday? I said, you what? Because there's a board that sort of says what you're doing and that. And I'm not on the board, and I'm like, no, I'm not supposed to be on holiday. They got me down as being on holiday this week. Don't ask. I don't know. I wanted to wear my RealTalk t-shirt because I found that.
Yes.
And then, because I'm just not organised, as you know, but then I wanted to find my black one. But there's a couple of things I want us to talk about, Shao. You know, from the Women's Network.
Yes, yeah.
I can't remember what that, but can you mention something?
Yeah, we did vaguely. There was a thing that got sent out from Luton Borough Council, in which that the Luton Women's Charter, of which Simply Deez is part of, they were invited to have a feedback form. So any women in Luton to fill out this feedback form to then say about how you're feeling about living and or working in Luton. So your living situation, what your neighbourhood's like, and how you feel about certain things. The questionnaire is quite easy to do.
Yeah, it doesn't even take 5 minutes.
No. But what we're trying to do as the Women's Charter is then to move it forward so it is a fully functioning thing. So you've got a lot of charities that are involved on it, and we just need as many people as many women as possible to fill it out. We've had an extension on it.
Okay. If I could just interrupt for one moment. So Shelley and I were both on the call, and this had gone out, and there were a certain amount of people that had fed back. And from that, they were going to publish something. And if you know us at Simply Deez, we don't just do something for the sake of something. We're like, oh, and Shelley's, excuse me.
I was being an ally with a capital A. I was doing action. I spoke up.
And it's like, it's not a true reflection. And who is it gone out to? And
I actually did see a poster in my doctor's surgery today for it. So it's gone out to surgeries, but if it goes onto a board, that you know what the doctor's surgeries are like. You've got one community board, and if most of the time you're not actually looking at it, or it was an odd place. But But yeah, it didn't go out to the correct people, and for the information that they were showing us of what the answers were, we could tell who had answered this, and apparently they only had 100 people answer back on this
across
charter.
Luton.
This is across Luton, and it's for us moving forward, as in what sort of things we want to do in Luton for women. So if that then works out that you've got different schemes kind of like going on, if we do certain fundraising, is there something specifically that needs to be done for like your domestic abuse in some other towns? They've purely looked at domestic abuse, or they've looked at families, or they've looked at job opportunities, whether it's women and said like opening up their own new businesses. It's all this kind of thing that we need to put in our charter to how we're going to go forward. What our actions are going to be.
It's a very, trust me, it's a very basic form. Okay, yes. I don't know how many questions, let's say 20 questions. You're not even writing answers. All you're doing is basically either yes or no, or whether it's your post, whatever it might be. It's just one click. Less than 5 minutes. We are, what's the word? We want you. We're reaching out to the masses here now, not just the Simply Deez crew. We want women out there. Don't be silent. There's so many things where, what about this? What about that? What about the other? But did you fill it out?
Yeah.
So we were asked a question and we said no. We've now done that. So we're urging you to please, we're going to send it out in our WhatsApp groups. We're going to send it out in our links in the show. We're going to send it out on our newsletters and all. This deadline is the 16th of May, 16th, which would be next week sometime. Don't wait till the 16th of May to fill it out, because you can guarantee the time you remember, it's going to have closed. You get the link, bam, bam, bam. Please, please, please. You know, we've got a voice, we've got an opportunity to say what we think, what we feel. There's always more, don't get me wrong, there's always more. But if we don't start somewhere, then we can't say anything. So that's one thing that we're going to do, isn't it, Shell? We are currently in talks with another organisation that we are most likely going to be collaborating with. Am I right, Shell?
Yes.
So this will help as well. In all honesty, this will help as well. But more details will be following. Certainly, I'm sure next time we have our next show, we'll be telling you all about that, what we're going to be doing, how you can get yourself involved and all that sort of stuff.
Just a little hint, that's a ladies group.
Yes, health, women's health.
Yes. We're not just talking menopause, it is women needing to be together in whatever shape or form this turns out to be, where you do get that natural thing of women are then going ahead and talking to their elders about how they went through things. And Dee's giving you another little hint about the next thing that we've got in the pipeline.
Major. Oh my God, that's an original T-shirt. Original T-shirt. I remember this. Do you know what? Do you remember when we did this online?
Yes.
Who has an event that lasts 8 hours? Who the hell has an event that lasts 8 hours? Are we lying, Shell?
No, you're not lying at all.
8 hours. And do you know what? You're thinking nobody was on.
We had people all over the place.
They were. So you can see excitement. Okay, we are going to be back by popular demand. When I say popular, it's like when? Saturday, the 20th of September. Put it in your diary now. Saturday, the 20th of September. We're going to be posting by the end of this week. We're going to be posting some initial information out. If you want to get involved, certainly if you want to sponsor, yes, this T-shirt says, and if you remember that iconic little picture there, the black bookcase, Luton Books, Arts, Craft, and we might throw in a little museum or here or there.
All sorts.
Oh, it's good. It's going to be absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. We are back at our normal stomping ground for the Black Bookcase. That's a sixth form college. Woo! And yeah, lots and lots and lots.
Can I just say, and I'm going to say it here, and I'm going to say it on any other type of promotions that we've got going on, that it's to celebrate the African Caribbean arts. It's not for it, it's to celebrate it. Can Luton please get together a little bit more and celebrate each other's culture? I'd had it. You might have seen it when I did the live of the Luton Irish Forum, when we did St Paddy's Day. That I did it when was it the week before or the week after? I can't remember how it worked out. Where you then had, no, it was the week after, wasn't it? So then you had the Eid celebrations, and I went down to that. We need to be celebrating each other's culture. These events get put on, and it's not for that thing for them to go. It's for everyone to go to celebrate that particular thing, that particular culture, that particular festival, that particular, yeah. Sorry, little rant.
You got the message. You got the message.
Because I had people that have said before, when we did the Black Bookcase, oh, I was thinking of coming, but I didn't know. And I was like, what?
Didn't know if it was for me. Didn't know, sort of like.
Really? You think that of us? Come on.
Education. Yeah. I don't even want to put it out there, but I'll tell you guys afterwards. I'll put it out there. I'm going to get my hands slapped. Yes, so much, guys. So much is going on this year. Some big birthdays. Yeah, so much. I'm not talking anymore because I'm tired. We are back next Thursday with our community Zoom. By the way, before I forget, well done, Lily, on passing your driving test. Congratulations, young lady. I bet you were thinking, Mum even sent me a picture. I'd already seen it. So honestly, congratulations. Well done. Well done. You're doing so well. Honestly, you're doing so well. And we will link up very, very soon. Very soon. So yes, lots coming.
Talking of Thursday.
Which Thursday?
No, I'm talking of Thursdays, but the Thursday for this week, that's the whole VE Day celebrations and everything else that are then going on out there. There's a lot of different things that have been going on since yesterday, all the way through to actual Thursday itself. Some fundraising things as well. There's a few things on our page that I've already sent out in our In Together, Share Together groups.
Is that your street?
No. There's Luton Irish Forum. We've got one. There's another one somewhere else. Bushmead, I think, had theirs. Because there's all sorts of different days, because some of them are done over the bank holiday and some of them are doing actually on VE Day.
On the actual.
Yeah. But it is a celebration of a big thing that happened in all of our histories. And it's, if it wasn't for them that actually then stepped forward and did the worst thing of going to war when they didn't actually want to go to war, we wouldn't be where we are today. So I've got a very, yeah, as I did my post when I was actually watching the celebrations that were going, well, the parade that went on down at Buckingham Palace, that I've got a lot of army connections, and it comes from my parents being an older generation that does remember like the VE Day, that it's kind of, yeah, I've got a different look on it to perhaps some of the people that are around about the same age as me. But yeah, it's a whole different time of not so long ago, and lessons to come from it. Those stories still need to be passed through.
You still need to be told.
Yeah,
Told,
definitely.
shared. So,
and even silly little stories like that, because my parents were, just said they were kids, but for me as almost like an adult, then learning that my mum was being told off by my nan because she was then going past the American Air Force base that was over in Houghton Regis, and getting sweets off the Americans to bring back to anyone that was in their house, because they had evacuees in Houghton Regis as well. She was bringing the sweets back, and my nan going, "You haven't been past them Americans," and my mum going, "No, you didn't get those sweets, did you?" "No, I didn't, mum." And my mum's handing them out to everyone because my mum was the eldest. It's like, yeah, where do I get my naughtiness from, mum?
In it, obviously. You lot have got no idea. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. Yeah, lots happening. Yeah, we're gonna go. Otherwise, we'll be here all night. But yes, so it'd be nice to. What we're going to do, we're going to share out the link. Next week. Oh gosh, did Wayne in that say, was it Tuesday? Is it next Tuesday? It's next Tuesday, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's next Tuesday. For those that can, I will be.
Yes. Yeah.
If there's anybody else, yeah. So I need to now sort of like, from the show, because it was been another roller coaster. Thank you to all my guests today, to Wayne, Denise, Stephen, Lady Laurie, who else? Olive. And Olive, she's amazing, absolutely amazing. Not forgetting Tishy Thomas in their house. Carnival. Yeah, and and next Tuesday, I know Nike's got a guest. I've actually got a guest that was going to be on the show. You know, when they come back to you and then we decide we ain't got a show. But this guy is, I don't know him, but he's putting together a choir.
Oh,
look at her. Oh, Luton. Oh. There's lots of haters still out there, guys. Anyway, we are going to go. We're going to sign off for now. Shelley's going, I'm going to have words with him. He goes, oh, next Tuesday suits me better.
Oh, dear.
Michelle's praying I'm working. She's praying that I'm working. She's too bad. Honestly, you guys have got no idea. No idea. Listen to that laugh. I know. And lastly, before we go, we've got a few people that we know actually for Melina Pearl, the musical. I do believe, I think they start this week. The tour, it's not even a show, it's the tour.
It's a full
Then
tour,
Manchester, London, Birmingham, Milton Keynes. Milton Keynes, and that is on the 10th of June. So we have producing, directing, and probably all the rest that goes with that, Janetti Barrett. And we've also got some of the, who's part of the Simply Deez crew. We've also got Veronica Ebanks, Pamela Thompson, and Leisha. Yeah, also as well. So congratulations and good luck, ladies, for Saturday. Okay, and I think that's it. I think that's it. Good night, TJ.
He's falling asleep down here.
Oh, that's how excited I am. TJ's gone to sleep. Right, we're out of here. Michelle, I'll speak to you tomorrow. I can't talk anymore.
No, everybody.
Royal wave.